For Carl!
Two minutes, Nico. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all persuasions, welcome back to another... God, I hope it's Wednesday. It better be Wednesday. Whew, my computer tells me it is Wednesday. It is time for another SnowRunner session. My week has been so busy and is going to continue being so busy probably all the way through Sunday that I'm massively losing track of time. Time of day, time of week. It's all a big blur to me, but the computer says it's Wednesday. That means today it's some SnowRunner time. SnowRunner Season 11 isn't out until tomorrow morning, so today we're going back to the Pine Valley mod map. That one has provided a lot of good experiences. Only a couple of bugs, not enough to make it unappealing in any fashion. Just a little bit of cleaning up I think would have made it perfect, but I'm so happy with the amount of stuff that's available out there on that map. So we're going to go back. I'm going to see about maybe tying up a few loose ends, because it might be a little while before I get back to this. Although Season 11 is only going to be 2 maps. Honestly, it's probably not going to take more than a couple of weeks worth of streams to get through all of that, especially since I can't help but run some of it while I'm off stream. So I might be back a little sooner than I'd expected. Season 12, when it comes out, whenever that happens to be. I have trouble thinking they're going to make it before the end of the year, but I guess if they make it by March of next year, it's still within the year window. It's just not the calendar year anymore. I guess it's the fiscal year 3 of SnowRunner is how they're going to break that one out. But that one's 4 maps of 4 square kilometers each. That one is going to take a long time to get through. That one could probably carry me through a good month. Very excited to see that, because that will probably be the swan song for SnowRunner. And then there's going to be Expeditions, the Mud Runner scouting spin-off game. That will come out, I'm going to presume, like a month, maybe 2 months after Season 12 of SnowRunner is out. Now it'll probably carry you through the summer. I'm going to guesstimate, because what the hell do I know about anything? And then maybe by about this time next year, SnowRunner 2 / MudRunner 3 will be out, and we'll get all kinds of new environments. And I think a lot of the stuff they're experimenting with in Expeditions, like tire pressure especially, I think that's going to make it into the next full mud / SnowRunner game. I still like going with Sand Runner for it as a predictive title, because I think the terrain runner, I think sand moving into desert areas would be very cool for the next edition. That opens up giant chunks of the Middle East, Africa, the desert Southwest here in the US. I don't know if Canada really has much in the way of sandy deserts. You probably got to have some sort of a sand dune type monument somewhere. So we could still get Canada in the fold. Everyone loves Canada. Canada's awesome. Tim Hortons. Oh, wait. Boop. There it is. Oh, it's so good to be able to do that again. I've got a story about that, but I'm going to save that until Nico shows up, because Nico is going to particularly appreciate it. Let me take a quick pan around, make sure that I've got good status slash health indicators all the way around. Let me do a quick reload on this page. That one says that we are good. Everything is looking good. Sirenscape is wrapping up their show now. I don't think they'll write in today because this might be Dan's last stream for a week or two. Because this big move is coming up this weekend, so they may just drop out. But so far, it's just me and you, Thorson, I think. I don't think Mrs. Jedi's even jumped in yet because she's got a meeting right now. All that jibber jabber. Let's just flip over here to the game. Multiplayer is up and running for this one. I've got the code down below if anyone happens along, wants to join in later. As of the start of the stream, that number was valid. They've definitely been having issues with their multiplayer. If they're going to fix anything in what I'm calling Sandrunner, cross-platform multiplayer, it's got to be something they put a lot more effort into, because it has been bad in this edition. And they're kind of clearly not finishing actually fixing it up now. I don't think it's going to get any better in SnowRunner. When it works, it's fun. When it doesn't work, it's infuriating. So, what have I got to do here today? Well, by default, it has the Sequoia shipment loaded up for me. And there is that trailer just waiting over there. This truck, I do not believe... Well, you know what? Oh, wait. Let's pop into it real quick. Let's go see. Nope. That is definitely not going to pull a trailer because he's got the sideboard bed on. It's almost out of fuel, too. And all he has is a spare tire. Can't grind that up into the tank, so instead... Let's come back out here. I got the A and K. You know what? Let me take off the readers so I can see the TV screen over there. There's other Azov. This one... Oh, in fact, this one has the trailer that we would theoretically be using. It needs 5 Sequoias, which means I could road train 2 of them twice. But I'll need 1 truck to do it solo. Let me think about this for a moment. He actually does have some fuel. I don't think he has spare fuel on him. So let's see. No matter what, I got. Oh wait. Let me jump into him first. Okay, there we go. Okay, I am centered up over here. Step 1, we definitely need to get out to the road. I'm at 71%. I'm a little worried about that fuel level. I could play the game where I go buy a fuel trailer down here. And then... Oh boy, this is... There's a lot going on here. Where do I need to... I need to take the Sequoias to the docks on the other map. Okay, so we're definitely coming out this way. I'm pretty clear with that. I think I'm good on that route. That shouldn't be a problem. But I am probably going to want to come up past this step. I think that's going to be the safest way to do that. So we want to come all the way out to here. And then just slowly but surely work our way up this hill. There's a couple of spots that it kind of gets a little grousey. Where's the... Yeah, there's the truck eating cabin right there. So I don't have to go in there anymore, I don't think, at least. So that's nice. So let's go ahead and plot that out. Trying to decide here if I want to get any of these extra trucks out of the way. I think I've got clearance to get by all of them, so they could probably all just sit there. If I leave them in place, that makes them rescue vehicles in the event I turn someone sideways. I think that is going to benefit me. There is a small... No, that's a flatbed. I was thinking, oh, if that's a Scout fuel truck... Maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe this Yar over here is going to be my mini fuel mule on this map. Because he only has to be able to run up and down this hill. I don't need to bust out the res to do all the extra driving around. And he can just pop over here to buy a scout fuel trailer if he really needs one. Scout. Okay, do I have one up there? Do I want to go get that one? No, that's probably extra work. Screw that. Extra work is lame. So let's fire up. Oh, hey, you know what? I gotta flip over here. Let's get a good one. How about this bad boy here? Yeah, there's a good one. That's how we want to rock and roll. You know, I haven't been in first-person view for a little while here. Oh, okay. I was worried there for a moment that maybe I forgot to bring the trailer with me. We need this trailer. I'm going to go ahead and make this run with this truck and this trailer. This is going to be the solo run to kind of plot out the route, make sure we're good everywhere. And then when I come back, that is when I am going to grab another truck with a low saddle and have it grab the trailer that is already sitting out there by the Sequoia. And then the two of us are going to road train. Those will be Sequoia number 2 and 3. And then we'll just do that twice to get all 5 taken care of. Does that mean I can get this all done in this one stream? Maybe. I think I have driven that particular route enough that I'm kind of comfortable with it. There's a couple of questionable spots. With certain trucks, there's a couple of spots where I've needed to winch just to get up that hill. I don't think this one's going to have that problem. I think 8-wheel drive really helps with that. Okay, everyone pick your feet up off the floor. Might get a little wet down there. And I don't have any of this kind of mud bog to deal with once I've gotten myself out of the logging zone here. The trip up and down from the Sequoia doesn't have any of this, so I think we'll be good. I think we can actually get this done all in one stream. And I get a tiny break in my weekly schedule this evening, so I don't really have to quit at 6 my time. I might. If I get a little hangry by that point, it might be worth it. That being said, however, I do plan on doing some streaming tomorrow in honor of the release of Season 11. I'm going to be back. I'm going to be doing some more SnowRunner streaming. I can go into more detail on that once I've got active chat participation, because everyone knows Nico loves nothing more than gossip. So we gotta get Nico fully involved in that. I can hear myself feeding back just a little bit. Let me turn that volume down just a notch. Then that's a green button. Okay, that button was cool. Everything's fine here now. I think Wednesday is my regular SnowRunner day. Is that right? I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore. Oops, there's another. Oh man, there's another green button. Now I got green buttons everywhere. But as long as it's green, I'm happy. This is really weird. The first-person view is actually doing a lot better for me along this route. Although this truck also does a lot better than quite a few of the others I've been trying to limp through here with bad tires. There we go. Get all straightened out here. Now, I think I like my plan of using the Yar to pull a scout fuel trailer in order to do all of the fuel servicing that we are going to require. Rather than driving it all the way over here to pick up the free one, I'm just going to go drop the few bucks at the trailer store to pick up a fresh one. And then when we're done with the Sequoia mission, I'll just turn right around and sell it. Then I can buzz back over to this one free trailer, go pick it up for use later. There are definitely a lot of contracts left. Nico! Nico!
He's talking again.
There he is. Is that some of the Path of
Wow.
Octo? Wow.
I just wanted to make that sound. I don't know why.
I feel you, man.
There's the other
I love that. I'm doing it without the 2 minutes even. Blah, 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 blah. I could probably do it. That one isn't as much fun to me. I don't know why. If it would annoy Mrs.
2 minutes.
Jedi down here in person,
minutes,
I'd
Nico.
probably do that one more. I love that one to death. So anyway, I have been busy just chatting away to myself, Nico, desperately waiting for you. That is the path. That is Octal. Nice. I swear I'm getting back to playing that game someday. But, you know, obviously today's Wednesday, so we're sticking with SnowRunner Wednesday. I was busy laying out my schedule, and I figured at some point I'd kind of hesitate until you were here and ready for it. So we're doing Pine Valley today, because Season 11 of SnowRunner does not release until tomorrow morning. So today is SnowRunner. That game is a grind, I know. I have enjoyed the parts through which I have played. I can definitely see how Grind Town can become a thing in that game. So many combats that are kind of really all the same. When you get lucky, they at least have a different background, but the fight itself is still kind of the same. And it kind of gets to the point where it seems like you can know which enemies have which strengths and weaknesses, so you can kind of tailor your party a little bit when you're in a zone where you know they're going to be more common, but still it's not as much as I've historically hated JRPGs for the amount of repetition on crap that they put you through, but it definitely has a lot of it. That's why Sea of Stars I am so desperately in love with, because there is no level grind in it. You kind of can if you really want to, but at the end of the day, they kind of level everything around you to kind of keep stuff on par. So it's actually really not a big deal. Going back to find the hidden stuff, I wouldn't even really call that a grind. It's kind of going back to the same areas again, but it is not bad at all. But yeah, I love the way that they have set up. One boss that stuns with a quarter health left, so I need to equip some items so my party doesn't get stunned. Oh, yep. Yeah, those are the ones that really chap my hide. The big boss fights. Nope, set the brake. Okay, we're good here. Okay, everyone stop what you're doing. Come out here, take a look. There we go. The boss fights that are 45 minutes to 2 hours long, and you finally get down toward the end of one, and that's when you discover that, oh, there's a thing they do that I have 0 counter for, and I don't have enough health left. What the hell happened to this thing? Did I... Ooh. Hey, Sirenscape, welcome in. After all, I thought you were just going to quit for the day and call it a vacation till November. Welcome in, Dan Servo, with your resub. Where's Steve's voice alert? Oh, Steve, you need to get me some walk-up sound / music. That'll get you one. Nifty Chris, this is your first time chat, so you get nothing but the knocking sound. Congratulations, though. You get a knock. Oh, wait. I got a button. Boom. Some of my sounds are provided by Sirenscape.
Drop is
He's
now
trying.
300, 200.
Oh, look at
That
that.
occurs to me.
You get a Dan Servo /
gonna
Jason
run
Bullman clip.
What? Now.
Oh, and that's the one with the funny music, funny sounds for the Jeep. I could totally do that.
All right, so the drop is 140 meters away.
Okay, all right. Well,
I've got a long
Well,
clip
let's
here.
go this way, I guess.
I'm going to wait for you then. There you go, Dan. Look at that. That is a sound. That is a horn provided by Sirenscape. I'm finding more and more sound effects to kind of build in here on my Stream Deck. I do have that one. That one is mandatory in a game where you tend to
2
roll
minutes.
yourself upside down.
2 minutes, Nico.
Let me get all caught back up here. So yeah, Steve needs a sound alert. Although with the way Steve swears, it's probably going to be a filthy sound alert. So I guess I have to do it though. But consider it done. Let's see. The Dan Servo has joined in. Did I miss a her? Sorry about that, Nico. I got too carried away. Some of those 7 days clips definitely go on. It depends on who clips them. Some people like to say, "Oh, hey, that was a funny thing. Let me hit clip it. Oh, how long can I make it? Boom, let's make it as long as possible." Steve's alert has to be a bad British accent. So, just a recording of Steve. I'll go take a clip off of the chat show to be named later, and then I'll just play it back randomly. I think that'll get him covered. So, welcome in. On Wednesdays, I am, generally speaking, a SnowRunner streamer. Voila, SnowRunner. Tomorrow is the big release of the new Season 11 content for SnowRunner. Unfortunately, tomorrow is not the same as today. So today, I've been working for a while on this mod map that's available, set in Pine Valley, North America. Not even willing to commit whether it's the US or Canada. But it's a really well done, independently developed mod map. Tons of missions to do on it. So I've been kind of working my way through that. Right now, I have an assignment to go transport 5 sequoias, because, what's the big deal about cutting down giant old-growth forests? No one minds, it's fine here. But in order to do that, I need some fuel resources available. I was going to take this scout vehicle here, which does have a trailer hitch. I was going to use it to go buy just a small fuel trailer so I could park it in the middle of the route that I need my large trucks to take. I had just jumped into this truck when the raid came in, and I discovered that something's happened to this vehicle while I wasn't watching. It seems to be missing most of its health. Nifty Chris, thank you for the follow. Let's see, had to delete a number of clips because it was clearly someone accidentally hitting the button. Oh, yeah, I've never done that. I've never done that on, say, the Dan Servo channel or the Sirenscape channel. If you see any weird Sirenscape Cyberpunk Red clips that have no punchline, no context to them, they just go for 30 seconds and then cut off in the middle of a sentence, definitely not me accidentally clicking something in the middle of the string. Definitely did not happen. If you go to Nico's stream and you see that, that was me, and it was on purpose. It was a statement. So anyway, yes, I have a very badly destroyed vehicle. Will it even run? Ooh, well, no, it kind of runs. It only has 20 liters of fuel left. Oh, this is not doing... Oh, it slipped out of gear. Yep, transmission's bust. Nope, out of gear. Hang on. Though not very common, this is kind of a fun aspect of the game. If you beat your vehicles badly enough, there are actual repercussions. I am lucky that I have not damaged the fuel tank, otherwise I'd be losing fuel even faster than this. The trailer store is not far. If I can make it there, I can buy a repair trailer and then the fuel trailer I want, and we can get everything fixed up. Good as new. Bob's your uncle. I even broke off a safety lamp on top, which means we are unsafe. It's clearly detailed by the body damage all over this thing. Oop, the engine's stalling. Oh, and it's stalled. That's okay, we're fine. Nope, no, we're not fine. Nope, yep, nope. Nope, keep going, you're right there. Okay, at this point, I can grab one of those trucks and tow this in if I really need to. Oh, that hurt. Keep going. Oh, man, it is pissed. No, you only have to go downhill. Come on, come on. Oh. What are you on? How did you get this far before dying? Oh, the brakes out? No? Let me go to all-wheel drive, technically, which should make this worse. It's going to put bigger drag on the engine, but I'm going to try it anyway. Usually you don't have fuel problems until you get down to... Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here. Oh, nope. Yep. Nope. Okay. Feather the gas. Oh, wait. There's a fuel tank right here. Nope. Wrong button. Okay, screw it. We're just going to fill it up. Okay. Fuel is not a problem on this one any longer. Let's go over here real quick. There. Now we've made it. I believe... You know what? With Season 11, they have added a new trailer that the Scout can pull that has both repair points and fuel backup and all kinds of good stuff on it. I don't think it exists here yet. That one... Oh, no. None of these do repair. Okay. That's okay. We can work with this. We can still work with this. Let me power you down. Let me go pick up the Paystar here. Paystar can come in. He can buy the repair trailer. I didn't mean to start up again. Whatever. You do you, truck. Ramp flatbed. No. Gooseneck. So much to choose from here. Let me flip over here so we get a good look at all these trailers as we go through. Maintenance trailer. That's more fuel. There, service trailer. That's the bad boy we want. Let's put on the repair. It says... Oh, okay. That's because I'm trying to use just my spare wheel. That's not going to help anybody. There we go. All repaired. I did not mean to hit the winch. I am suffering the issue that for the regular mainline game, I play this on my Switch. For the mod maps, I play it on my Steam Deck. And all of the A, B, X, Y buttons are backwards between the two. So I spend a vast majority of my time screwing up buttons. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at all of those component dial buttons down in the bottom left there. Everybody's out of the red. The body damage does not get repaired by that trailer. You have to go back to the garage to fix the body damage, but screw body damage. Apparently I only had one beacon, but it's on, so we're safe now. Headlights are on. Beacons are on. Trailer's a little squirrely, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It doesn't mind. Okay, nope, doesn't mind. We're good. You have the problem with your Switch? Yep. That comes up a lot. Alright, my best guess is that, you know, Nintendo's been around a while, so I can kind of give them credit for, you know, A, B, X, Y and their preferred placement. And then it was kind of everybody else that decided to be a rebel and do them in different order, but it gets a little physically confusing from time to time. There we go. Big beefy boy is now fully refueled. Headlights and beacons are on. There's a horn. I also love my Sirenscape sound set. Well, I've pillaged a bunch of different sound sets, so I built my own custom sound set. What did I end up calling it? Like Jedi's Adventure or something fun, or maybe just Jedi's Tavern, so that it fits the background motif here. So I've got all of them kind of mixed together into my own set, so that I can operate them when I'm using, say, the iPad app. But then I've also got everything all tied up to buttons on my Stream Deck. I definitely enjoy having access to this. I think we need more trucking sound sets. Steve, I need you to get on that. But I have found that especially the Call of Cthulhu sets, they tend to skew a little more towards, say, the 20s era, but they still have horns. My favorite are these steam horns. You get some really good steam horns and a nice wide variety of them. I did build my own Horns Redeem off of channel points that uses a random selection of horns as sampled from this game. So I got one of those in there at least, because I know this truck is one that I've selected. There you go, there's the horns. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, now Nico's going to overlay them, so you're going to get them all at once. So just soak it in.
For rock and stone!
For rock and stone. Oh wait, I hear the sound of my hydration in the background. For Garl. Garl is going to be avenged on Saturday, by the way. Well, at least we'll try to. For those new to the stream, I'd like to introduce you to Coffee Monkey, here to keep me hydrated. There are a few rules around Coffee Monkey. In the midst of summer, when stupid Pacific Northwest gets to be over 100 for a month at a time, I will sometimes have to swap out my Captain Phasma water bottle and actually just have too coldish water instead. The rest of the time, Coffee Monkey is serving me up delicious instant coffee. But sometimes, if the real coffee pot, as Mrs. Jedi puts it, the human coffee, if it sticks around long enough to make it to stream time, then Darth Mug becomes the conveyor of the good coffee. Let's see, right now the good coffee selection, we actually have a small batch called Fetch that was produced in order to help provide donations to animal rescues. Now, to be fair, I don't know which animal rescues where. I'm assuming it's the Pacific Northwest because we got the bag here, but that is a lot of assing you and me involved, so I don't really know where they are. But it goes to support dogs, so I'm all for it. So that's our main base. And we've been doing a 50-50 mix of fresh ground beans with a concoction called Creo Brew that's actually made out of a place down in Southern California. I think that's where they do their grinding. It's cacao beans that are ground up like coffee, but the cacao bean is much more serious, a solid bean, than coffee is. So the general recommendation is it would be a really bad idea to try to use your own home quality burr grinder to grind up an actual cacao bean. So they do the grind for you, but then it brews just like coffee, but you get much more of kind of a mocha overtone to it. It's a little on the pricey side, so that's why we typically do a 50-50 mix with a more standard coffee that we can grind ourselves here. But it makes a really nice combo. And then I've got a little bit of the Torini sugar-free hazelnut syrup. You put like a squirt and a half of that in there, sweetens it up just the right amount. Oh, it's good. So whenever Darth Mug comes out to play, that's generally what's in it. Although by the time we get to the bottom of the mug, or the bottom of the carafe, kind of only put the Torini in for the first cup of the day. Beyond that, you scale back. Even though it's sugar-free, it feels dirty, so I go limited on that. I have used Timmy's. One of the most exciting days in my life when I discovered that I could actually buy a bag of Timmy's beans off of Amazon here and not have to drive to British Columbia to actually go get a cup. Now, to be fair, I'm not really certain that Timmy's coffee and McDonald's coffee are any different, but I'm okay with that. McDonald's coffee, it may have been a decade ago now. At one point, they used to have the classic make fun of it McDonald's coffee that was terrible. And then they finally decided one day, you know what, let's make the coffee not suck quite as much ass. And so they changed their provider. And they got a coffee that's It's a little milk toasty still. It needs to have that McDonald's least common denominator appeal, but it actually tastes like a coffee now, which was a huge improvement. So when we're out on road trips, I can get a big old cup of McDonald's coffee, and it suits me just fine. Full disclosure, I can have a cup of Folgers Instant, and I'm perfectly fine with that too. And that's still better than old McDonald's coffee was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that McDonald's and Timmy's probably get their coffee from the exact same place now. But it's good enough. And, you know, grinding it at home is always fun. And that mixes really well with the Creo, too, because you get that little mocha. The mocha and the hazelnut make a wonderful combo. Mrs. Jedi has kind of the equivalent of a midterm project due for the internship that she's working on. It's not exactly, but it's really easy just to kind of think of it that way. The actual, we'll call it presentation / deployment, happens tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So I took her on a little bit of errand running today to get some of the supplies that she's going to need to make it all happen. And she was at kind of a industrial, restaurant kitchen supply place. So I think they have supplies. It primarily geared toward providing the food for restaurant quality, restaurant volume food joints. She's working with on an internship with the health department here, so they're doing a kind of a community outreach thing with some food skills trading stuff. So she was at this place, and she discovered that they had Torani syrups for cheaper than Amazon, which was really impressive. And she scored one that's salted caramel, I think. So that one is going into the rotation ASAP. Oops, hang on, I got a big rock in the road. Let me get over this, and I got to catch up with Nico. Kind of like a Cisco, but no, not really. This one is definitely designed... Oh, there's the okay, there's the other trailer I need, by the way. Right about there in front of the truck. But I don't need it now because I brought my own. When I come back with the second rig so we can road train, then I will need it there. It's kind of along those lines. I think it's set up like a wholesale grocery store, but I don't think it's membership required. I think they typically sell kind of almost more like a Costco than a Cisco, except I don't think they actually had the membership requirement. Boom! Look at that giant log that we're sending off to... Well, we've already murdered the tree, so we're sending it off in little bitty pieces. Load up! And now I gotta figure out how to get out of here. Honestly, it might be easier to flip the Yui right here and go back up the way I came in, but they did build an entire loop just in case I needed it, so... Let's try the loop, make sure it's not too muddy or anything. Let me work my way down past some of this. Yeah, climbing the hill here was not a problem in this truck. That works out really well. We can stop to refuel right there if we need it. And then we are headed... pay no attention to that trailer that I abandoned there. Someone will pick that up and fix it someday. That day is not today. Yeah, we're just going to go around this way. As long as this way doesn't have any actual deep mud in it, I think we're fine going this way around. I got to shut that down real quick. There we go. Oh no, I got more buttons that needs me to click over here. I've clicked one button. I've clicked two buttons. I don't know why it needs me to click buttons, but it makes it happy. And if OBS/Twitch are happy, then I'm happy too. Hey, Nico, congratulations. Actually, you know what? You were the first here. Yeah. Ooh, here's a challenge to see if we can get the little stubby legs over that hill. Piece of cake. Look at this giant, slightly squared log. It's more round in the back, more square in the front. Oh, hey, that's right. Let me go back. I'm going back to doing this first person again. This is my personal training plan to try to get a little bit better at doing this first person. Sometimes on Wednesdays when I'm not doing SnowRunner, because for whatever reason I'm not feeling it that week, I do like playing American Truck Simulator. European Truck Simulator 2, a little bit less. ATS is kind of more of my jam, I think because it's got maps for almost everywhere that I've lived, so I get that personal click with it. And I have found that in ATS, my natural inclination is to drive in first person. Third person is a little ungainly until you're trying to do the parking, the reverse parking exercises. And it's the exact opposite in this game. First person feels weird. Third person is way more comfortable. I think in part it relates to the fact that because this is so much off-road driving, it really helps to know where all of your wheels actually are in relation to all of these giant rocks and holes and mud puddles and stupid branches and stumps and things. So I'm trying to get a little more first-person time in to feel a little bit better about it. Because I know MudRunner had a large number of kind of their equivalent of missions that required you to stay in first-person view the whole way. SnowRunner has had a couple. One of them, you had to race between locations in a scout vehicle, which tends to be very bouncy and flippy. And so that one was a little frustrating trying to get through that on my first pass. Well, and the first 3 or 4 passes until I finally got through it. I feel a little better. I'm also noticing that on the Steam Deck, the resolution is definitely better. All of the texture quality is higher than it is when playing it on the Switch. Even though I'm playing to the same end monitor. I think the textures provided for the Windows build of the game are definitely higher res, just flat out. Even if you are just playing 1080p in either game, the textures are still better on the Windows version. And in this version, I think the way that the Steam Deck is actually working is it's probably running it at regular HD, maybe a little bit higher, and then it upscales it to 4K to match what the monitor is supporting. So I get a fake 4K look, which makes it look so much better. Even though I'm playing on the exact same monitor that I do when I play the Switch, it looks way better because it's actually driving it in 4K. Whereas the Switch forces it to downgrade to HD, and then I get the warning from the monitor itself that it would be better if I did it at higher res. And I say, hey, give me a Switch 2 and we'll see how this goes. Big rumor is that the Switch 2 reveal trailer might be coming up. I've heard a number of rumors along the way saying that early November might be the time, and I'm starting to hear other forms of confirmation that some of them want to say it might be as early as like Friday. I don't think I buy into that, but early November for a Switch 2, or whatever they want to call it, that might be out May maybe. I've heard a lot of rumors placing it somewhere between March and November of next year. I personally would prefer May because that's sooner. I do like that it's not this holiday season because sans employment, I don't know how strongly I could justify spending an extra $400 to $500 on a new console at this stage. So get me a new job, and then I'll be more than happy to go ahead and pre-order one of them bad boys. But I digress. Let's see. I think Switch 2 would be released around the same time Switch was, end of March. I've heard a number of people that kind of go with March, but for a variety of reasons, and I think most of them, the talking heads that yammer on about it technically probably know nothing, but at least have rationale for knowing nothing. A lot of them are talking about the current game's release schedule. And I think they've got some stuff. The new Peach game, I think, is targeted for next March, I think. So I think the prognostication is that March itself might already have some stuff on the release schedule, but May is supposedly clear and available, like anyone knows anything about. Oops. about what that might actually technically mean. If they wanted to do it in March, I think I'm good with that. I think May buys me that extra tiny bit of time to get employed first. Get one paycheck under my belt before diving in to get something. But I have heard a lot more people saying the kind of late, sometime early to late spring kind of time frame versus holiday 2024, which I'm good with. I like that. I feel confident with that. Let me buzz you down here. Let's put on the brakes real quick. Oh, hey, it went from in-cab view to in-cab view. I don't think I've ever been in in-cab view long enough to do that to myself before. I'm going to make sure that it is fully topped up, because I don't know exactly what it's going to consider the docks to be on this other map. I have a very strong suspicion that it's an area that I've been to that is on the far side of the next map, which means I am going to be pretty heavy on fuel. I am also, as soon as I get to the other map, well, A, let's go see where the delivery point is. B, if it's where I think they might be referring, there's going to need to be some strategery coming into play on how to get there. Because depending on which side of the river it is, there may be a river crossing involved. This large a load is going to prove challenging getting through any of the river crossings. That is one of the new things that I've had to learn playing a mod map instead of an officially provided, signed off by QA map, is that there are river crossings across the big river. Some of them are not terribly challenging if you have a well-equipped truck. Some of them are impossible if you don't have a well-equipped truck. King Ninja joined in multiplayer in one of the first or second session that I played on this map, and he discovered that the ANK, the big military deuce-and-a-half looking truck, although this one's the civilian variant, he could drive it into the river, but then the river was so deep that the way that truck had its physics built, it actually floated on the river rather than sinking and flipping upside down like most of them do. And the current kind of spun him around, but then he discovered that by steering with the front wheels, he could use those like a rudder, and he was actually able to sail his deuce-and-a-half across the river to the other side, and then got enough traction. Since he arrived rear wheels first, he got enough traction he could actually back up the shoreline and get onto the main road over there. Unfortunately, he wasn't streaming his side, and I wasn't able to watch from mine. That is a clip I would have loved to have to permanently associate with the channel, because that was a stroke of genius to accidentally manage to figure out how to drive your boat that way. But this truck ain't going to do that, especially with the Sequoia on the back. Honk honk, I'm coming through. Let's get loaded onto the other map. Holiday 2024, it does make more sense, but I really personally like the idea of getting the March to June jump on it, especially with the whole notion of maintaining backward compatibility. I don't think you have to rely as heavily on the holiday software sales that you would really want to try to pull in with a normal hardware release. I think you're going to have so many people that will have such a huge library of ready-to-go right-away software that I don't think that is as much of an issue. And yes, that is the spot that I thought it was. I don't remember there being a boat parked over here before. I just remember this kind of, gangplanky, semi-docky thing over here. So that's definitely the docks. Some of this is really nasty to drive through. I may actually just want to take... I was going to call this the longer way around. I don't think that's really even any longer. This has one dip spot right there. I know exactly where it is on this map. That tries to dump you into that lake right there. So you just need to stay high and left from here. But I think that is really the only technical challenge along that route. There's a little bit of steep climb that if you've got a shorter wheelbase truck, those stupid little stubby legs on the trailer might get hung up on, but I don't think this one's going to have that trouble. Also, we're going to drive right past a fuel station. The generator is for another mission later. Haven't actually opened that up yet. I got stuff sitting at the trailer shop. Yeah, I think we're actually going that way. I do need to hop out of the cab to make sure. Headlights are on, beacons are on, brake is off, horn works. We're off, babies. What if it's March to June 2025? Depends on my employment scenario. If I don't have a job until holiday next year, honestly, I don't see it being that big of a problem. I think if things go really badly the rest of this year, I am pretty sure I could get another contracting job in really short order. I really don't want to do contracting again at this point. I wouldn't rule it out for the rest of my life, but I was burning out pretty badly on contracting. Getting to do one thing just long enough to start to feel comfortable in it, like I got a good grasp on it, and I might actually become productive in it, and then we're done, and we move on to the next one and start that whole process over again. And not even with the same technology stack, but with something completely new. So I've been pitching myself a lot as a jack of all trades, but master of none. That is distinctly how I feel right now. You feel like you need something new coming into the shop. I'm the one that you come to say, hey, I'll go out, give me a week, and I'll go learn enough to be able to at least demonstrate something in it. And then if you've got a new product you want to integrate, give me a week to go take a look at the code, and as long as I kind of know what I'm supposed to be integrating it with, I'll be able to give you at least a high-level breakdown on what it's got and what it's going to need. But if you want to sit down with me and have the computer science trivia game show where you ask me super details about every possible language and stuff, it's going to go badly. Totally has nothing to do with the interview process I went through yesterday. Though to be fair, there was only one question where I came up with off the top of my head, I don't know, but I do know some of the words you said, and to the limit of how I've been using those words lately, here are a couple of things that I have been using that fall along those lines. How do I go about comparing and contrasting them? Well, here's one thing they do differently that would determine which one of those I use, and I hope that's good enough. That particular guy, it was my 2 panel interviews, were yesterday and today. So that was panel number 1. Originally, most of the panels I've ever been on are 3-person panels. These are actually 2-person panels. So, Mr. Trivia Guy, he was definitely the grumpus of the entire group. He's the one that gave up the vibe that he was not interested in doing interviewing. He wanted someone else to join the team. He kind of probably didn't really care who, as long as they didn't cause him problems. And I believe I'm primarily interviewing for a C#.NET position with them. I think he was one of the hardcore data grognards who does most of his work in Python, so he only has a little experience with C#. So I think in lieu of asking one of the typical, tell me about a time you blah 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 questions to kind of get a gauge of how stuff goes, I think that's why he kind of fell back on the trivia question angle, because it has kind of predefined answers, and I was able to answer all but that one. Were they the answers that he had prepped and ready? I don't know, but at least I was able to give those out. Today's interview, though, 2-person panels, not as intimidating as 3 or more. Those are stressful. You know what? As the person who served on some of those panels, I always felt that way, that it was super intimidating to the people being interviewed. Coming from my side, though, it's never really been the number of people that causes me any kind of an issue. It's the trivia show angle on those. If you've got 3 people and all 3 of them come armed with trivia questions, and yes, it's a nightmare. I have been on one of those panels before where someone came in and they completely locked up at the end of the first person's line of questioning, to the point with that company. Well, it was back in the before times, so that was an in-person interview, and there was whiteboarding involved and stuff. And this guy reached the point where he was having trouble with the questions, and then we asked him to go up and whiteboard something that, technically speaking, was kind of a really super generic, no right answer kind of thing. It was more one of those that you asked just to kind of get a feel of what their thought process is when they go through solving anything. And he locked up bad. He would not walk up to the board anymore. I think if he hadn't become so terrified, he would have just walked out of the interview. I have had people tell me stories of times that has happened, where people have just declared interviews over, and they've gotten up and they've walked out, which blows my mind, just because it's not a thing I would do, but I suppose I can kind of see how some people would. I'm going to get so distracted on side stories while I'm driving this boring route here. I had an office mate once upon a time who had some variety of social anxiety disorder. This was a long ass time ago, so I think he had an actual formal diagnosis, but this would have been back in the early 90s, so who knows what that diagnosis might have been, or how accurate it might have been, or what a modern diagnosis it might translate to. So I don't know where. But he was definitely the type that, even in a group of people that he knew and he was comfortable with, from time to time, it would hit him hard. We had, well, this was still back in the waterfall days, so it wasn't what I would think of nowadays as being a planning session, but that's kind of what this was. It was the beginning of a product was coming down. The people at the top of the waterfall were beginning to design the requirements that we were going to be handed down on chiseled stone tablets someday, but we didn't know what that was exactly. But our managers had some very light involvement, so they wanted to get us together, kind of talk about the real high-level kind of customer perspective on what this new product might be. And then there was a little bit of team-building aspect that went into that, because that was super popular at this mega corporation that I was working at the time. And so there was a great big conference table, people sitting all the way around it. This was at the peak of that team, where there were actually 15 developers on this team, and then a whole bunch of support people. So there were at least 20 people around this table. And I think, I was sitting next to him because we were office mates, and we were going to be like, person number 15 or 16 in line. So there was a whole bunch of this going around, and unfortunately, that let that anxiety chew at him for the 14 people ahead of, well, for 13 people ahead of him. Just before the person who was going to be right ahead of him was going to have to go, he leaned over to me, and almost so quietly I could barely hear it, he whispered, "I can't be here. Cover for me." And he left. And I don't mean he left the meeting. He left the office. He went home from the day. It hit him so bad. And that is the day it finally really clicked for me just how bad it was for him. And I felt terrible. And I did not sell him down the river, because I know that's what you're thinking, Nico. I covered for him. I don't. Okay, it's been more than 20 years. I don't remember exactly what I'd said, but I covered for him completely. So he was in zero trouble with anybody. The little bit of team building, I provided the little bit of whatever the stupid tell me about your question he was needing. Hey, Mrs. Jedi has finished her meeting, so she's come to join the family meeting here on Twitch. Welcome in. He is pooping on. Honestly, I think he probably did that first. But then he left the building. So yeah, it was a tough day for him. So I could kind of understand how there might be people who would completely couch lock on an interview like that, and just give up on the job entirely and leave in the middle of the interview. And I feel for him. I've always tried to be far more conversational when I've been the interviewer. I used to have one really stupid question that I got from someone else. Well, at least it wasn't entirely my fault, but I did keep using it, so that part was my fault. It was one of those designed to see, A, when you're in a technical interview and someone technically asks you something non-technical, how do you deal with that? And B, it was a crazy, stupid, open-ended... There can't be a right answer, so you can't technically have a wrong answer. Except for the twice where I asked someone and they completely locked up and not only couldn't but refused to answer. It's really weird the way people react to things differently, but it was, what could you do with a red brick? And there was no further definition to what that meant. Was it a cinder brick? Was it a building block? Was it, a video game brick? Are you playing Breakout? It could be anything. Part of the exercise where I originally got that from was be creative in your answer. Everywhere I've always worked always talks about super valuing creativity and then usually crushing it out of you when you actually want to try to express any of it. But it was a creativity question, and some people apparently had no creativity. Some people got very flummoxed by the question and then tried to answer it as though it was a computer science question, and those were always weird answers. Not that I could really blame people for being weird, because everyone is weird. Speaking from experience. But the moral of the story, TLDR, interviewing sucks ass. There you go. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My initial answer involved violence. Oh, you missed the pooping conversation. Oh, wait. Pooping? No, pooping would not go over well in the interview, but this one was not an interview. Yes, Stitch fan knows this. People are very weird. But hey, welcome back to the tavern. Hey, no, you're here often enough. If you want your own walk-up music / sound effect, you let me know. I'll put something in the hopper for you. Pretty close to anybody who says to themselves, "Oh man, I wish I had walk-up music too." You just let me know. I think that already kind of qualifies you as being here enough. I do have plans for expanding the Jedi Greeter bot. I've had a Code Anywhere platform subscription for 5 years now. And I used it pretty heavily the first 2 years that I had it, because I was trying to do a lot of how the hell do I make JavaScript work for what I want to do, or at least the Node side of things. And then over the last couple of years, it's only like $50 a year. It's not bad. So I kept paying the subscription, but I haven't been using it much. But I suddenly discovered, while I was asking myself, man, how do I get the JavaScript to really work to what I want it to do for this greeter? I happened to get the... Oh, look, there's another trailer full of bricks? Speaking of red bricks. Oh man, I got the... Yeah, your bill is coming up. We wanted to let you know. Oh, by the way, it's not until next March. I don't know who sends out a bill announcement that early, but apparently they do. And it clicked to me, oh, wait. Let me go back and check the container templates that they've got. Because I built one originally that did Node, and then you had to install all of the extra stuff you want. But now, they have a Node with React, which is exactly what I want to try using so that I can expand my greeter bot to not only interact with chat and play sound effects in React, but also start dealing out the video, or even the static graphic stuff. I think that would allow me to get off of Triggerfire entirely. The one thing I'd have to look at, I think I can actually make it do it, but the one other thing I'd have to look at is the redeems down there. The audio ones I should actually be able to do entirely through the Jedi Greeter if I ever get around to just doing the random selection part. The video ones, it's the connection from redeem to actually doing something. I think if I redo the authorization that I run my bot through with Twitch to explicitly ask for more permissions, it will tell me more events, and I think it will tell me the redemption events. And that's all I need to trigger. There you go, 1 down, 4 to go. Yeah, oh, look at that. There's a boat and a barge loaded up with toothpicks. Here we go. Other fun story. November of 2019, just as the stories of, hey, have you heard about that new virus coming out of China we're hitting? Mrs. Jedi and I spent a 2-week cruise down both islands of New Zealand, over to Tasmania, and then up half of the east coast of Australia. Most awesome trip either of us have ever had. Every port we stopped in New Zealand looked almost exactly like this over here, except with, tens to hundreds of thousands of logs. The toothpicks, as they called them, is where I ended up picking that up from. Because apparently, New Zealand, one of the big exports, is sending logs off to China to be pulped into paper. And then one of Australia's big imports is paper from China. Apparently no one's ever thought about just building some paper mills in New Zealand. If this whole finding a job here in the U.S. doesn't work out in the next couple of months, though, we still have a couple of years of eligibility for getting jobs over in New Zealand. Maybe I could pitch a startup over there that starts doing domestic paper production for New Zealand. I'm gonna make a note, Mrs. Jedi. We need to put together an action plan for that. See, I put Mrs. Jedi in charge of it so that when I forget about it then it's not my fault anymore. What's the age cutoff with New Zealand? Right now, the age cutoff in New Zealand, there are exceptions, obviously. But as long as you have a solid job that meets a minimum income requirement, it's 55. Now, you can be older than 55, but the requirement goes up, and I believe you start needing to be an investor of some kind. Whether that's tossing, a couple of $1 million into their stock market, or what the exact definition of invested in the local economy is. I'm not entirely positive. But it is definitely the point that you need to drop money into their economy that you cannot take back with you if you suddenly leave the country later on. Money that is going to stay with them forever. And then I think if you've got enough money, there's no age limit, because, that's kind of how the world works. It's definitely how America works. But if you just want a job with a visa, it's double nickel. We have already done some of the research. Software development is on the we desperately want it list. You can actually go directly to a residency visa rather than having to spend 2 to 4 years on a work visa first before applying for a residency visa and then trying to work your way through. So as a software engineer, there actually is a platform to try to get you there and then let you stay there, which might also start to kind of play into the age limit. Now, the first person I interviewed with at this most recent company, the only time it's happened in any of the multiple interviews that I've had with multiple companies going forward, that actually starts with the hiring manager. He used to work for a larger company here in the Portland area, and he got on a deployment to Australia with them for 2 years. And at one point, he was talking about, hey, maybe he could, just stick around and do that for longer, but he was there purely on the work visa. And he was approaching 45, and Australia announced, you know what, we're going to make the age limit 45 now. Now, if you're already on a residency visa, then you can go on above that, but if you're not, then please leave. Or if you'd like to pour some money into the legal system here, you can file some forms trying to get exemptions to things, and we'll see how that goes. And so he had a big discussion with his family and decided that his kids missed the Pacific Northwest. They wanted to come back here. His wife would be happy either way. His company did the old, well, if you really want to stay there, we can kind of work with you if you really want to, if you think that's what you need P.S. Please don't. So he decided, okay, yeah, let's just go back to the U.S. So he wrapped it up and then realized, nope, he's not going to get to go back. But some of the other people that he worked with, they discovered that the age limit was much higher in New Zealand, and if you could get settled in New Zealand, then Australia does not apply the same age limits to bringing over Kiwis. So he says, if you really want to get to Australia and you're over 45, the key is to go to New Zealand first and put in your 2 or 4 years there, and then you can just hop and skip across the Tasman Sea and hook yourself up there in Australia. Honestly, I kind of like New Zealand better. I've been to Australia a few times. I've spent more time in Australia. Okay, please don't fall down that dip. Okay, thank you. But I kind of like New Zealand better. We're targeting something that's going to be Wellington. Windy Welly. Loved that city. It actually had a lot in common with the Portland area in terms of kind of the, I'm going to call it hipster chic vibe. I don't mean all of the terrible components that normally go along with that. Just the more kind of laid back cultural components, I guess we'll say. Without the rampant homelessness problem that goes without being addressed. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Does TED have soapbox talks? Because that's probably what that would turn into. It is apparently scary as hell flying in and out of that airport because of the whole windy component. It's more Midwest windy with the Pacific Northwest vibe. I've seen some videos people have taken and posted up from their seats on aircraft where they are doing the hardcore crab walk to hit the runway. And either side of the plane, no matter which view you're looking at, it's creepy seeing that runway coming at you at a 45-degree angle. I know education is my jam here. Mrs. Jedi would ensure that we dropped everything to make that move happen. It scares the living hell out of me. Moving here from Nebraska was a nightmare of a 30-day ordeal. 30 days is not enough to get your shit together. That's my 1 out of 2 per stream. In order to move cross-country like that. I don't know how. Well, one of the ways we made it is we rented one of the larger rollaway dumpsters, and we filled that bad boy. We poured more stuff than I even knew that we had in there, and we still had more stuff than fits in our current house. So, step one, we got to have a fire sale, whether that's with a literal fire or with the sale. Regardless of where we move, we would need that. But to have to pull that off in a very short turnaround time would blow. I would love to just board up the house for 2 years and assume nothing would go wrong in it and just leave all of our stuff sitting. But everyone knows the moment you've gone away with a plan of longer than at least like 3 days, that's when something starts to leak or catch fire. It's Pacific Northwest, so it's mainly going to be leakage. And we don't want to deal with it. So we would have to get the place cleared out. Did I get enough stuff together? I don't want to burn my second one yet. I've still got a good hour to go, so I don't want to waste that. But yeah, we did love the Pacific Northwest. Everything here in Portland is what we used to love living in Colorado, but with about 5,000 feet lower altitude. So the issue with the constant dryness, having to get used to the dryness again after living in the Midwest for 7 or 8 years, that would have been a challenge. But yeah, just the altitude in general. There were a few other complications along the way, but here, nice low altitude, good temperatures most of the time, although it's definitely gotten hotter thanks to global warming than I had been promised. Hey, I have just scored a drop in some other stream. Weird. I've got something up in the background. Well, I'm gonna go claim it. There you go. Screw everybody. You're gonna wait for me apparently while I go do this here. Oh, that does remind me. There's something that I haven't gotten to in filling out my plans for the rest of my stream week here. So I'm going to take a total detour off of everything else we've been talking about. Everyone hold on to it. Hey, Ricky Man, welcome back in. We've been talking about international moving and employment. But we're taking a break from that. I'm doing a quick coverage. Stitch Fan gets auto-modded for the filthy use of words. Congratulations. My regular auto-modded participant, Tonkatuff, would be proud of you, by the way. Yeah, he can usually pull off 2 per stream, and he usually gets modded within his first 1 to 3 chats. Yes, it's an orgy of the mind stream. So anyway, I've neglected to cover what I started once before anybody was watching, so I figured that was kind of silly to tell everyone what would be going on when there was no one there actually paying attention. So today is SnowRunner Wednesday, so I am playing SnowRunner. That one's pretty much a given. Season 11 of SnowRunner is, unless they change things shortly, is officially scheduled for release tomorrow morning. Today is not tomorrow. I learned that in elementary school, so I could not do it today. So tomorrow my plan is to do a Season 11 SnowRunner release day stream. The timing is going to be a little complex because Mrs. Jedi has her midterm delivery thing happening tomorrow, and naturally it's happening on the opposite side of the metro area, and there are transportation requirements that are going to require my larger car, which she will be the first to tell you she refuses to drive, so I need to cart her over there, and then I think I'll actually be able to pick her up at a different location. There's rules behind that. We're not going to go into that level of detail, but I do need to go back to recover later. As a result, the pickup process is going to happen during my normal Pathfinder time. So the Pathfinder game has already been proactively canceled. We're just going to push that to next week. Not the first time it's happened. I feel bad whenever I have to do it, but you know what? Screw it. Whatever. Mrs. Jedi getting this master's degree in order to boost her employment so that I can become a permanent man of leisure and not have to worry about working ever again is my ultimate goal here. So we're going to make sure that this whole master's thing's happen, so she gets priority. My original thought was, I might stream kind of early afternoon and then do my Pathfinder game afterward, but that has changed because of the driving requirements. So I think pickup time will be 5:30 local time. Oh, please don't drive into the lake. Depending on where the pickup happens, it could be a good solid hour to get home from over there. If the pickup is a little bit closer, it might be a little bit less. Either way, that might mean a 7 p.m. stream. Now, as it so happens, tomorrow we have an avalanche alert. And I believe that starts at 7:30. So we may have a Season 11 SnowRunner plus avalanche in the background alert stream going on. It might be a 7 to 9 thing. I don't know. That's a little too far ahead to plan, but that's the rough planning right now, is that there will be a Season 11 release stream plan. And now Friday. SnowRunner is not the only release happening tomorrow. There is also a new Ghostbusters game, Spirits Unleashed, that should be released probably about the same time tomorrow. In fact, that is what I just received the drop from. It is already out for other platforms. I had a pre-order down on the Switch version, and it is running drops. So I think on Friday, I'm going to do a Ghostbusters stream, and it is going to be my first drops-enabled stream. It'll be the first time I've actually finally played something that actually has one of those stupid campaigns. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to make sure that that is turned on and enabled. There is a ghost that has 3 different skins available that you can unlock through this drop campaign. I don't really expect anyone else is even going to have this game. I think you have to watch for a grand total of 6 hours to unlock all 3 of them. That's why I accidentally left that other stream up and running. I thought I'd get through 4, and then I would shut it down when I do my stream so that it doesn't conflict with anything, but then I forgot to do that. But it's running on a separate machine, so whatever. You go ahead and run over there. Maybe I'll end up unlocking all of them today. But I do know that as a streamer, you actually get unlock credit for your own time spent. Did Did I just go? How did I turn around? How was I paying so little attention that I just went through the same gateway twice? Damn it! I turned too early. Or not at all, or something. And I was too busy chatting. Depending on when I go on... Mrs. Jedi has one other stream. This week, because it's midterm week, there's a lot of stuff that she has asked for help with. And I try not to be a dick. That does not account against my my swear contingent. Since I try not to be a dick, I'm helping out where I can. I'm unemployed. I got the time during the middle of the day. I may as well actually try to help out. So there is one other thing. I think that's 1:30. So if I'm home by no later than 4, I'm saying a 6-hour stream wouldn't be totally out of the question. It also kind of depends on how good the game is. If the game sucks, I've already paid for it, so it's too late. I'm getting it either way. But if the game sucks, I don't know if I want to stream that for 6 hours. But it's a possibility. If someone jumps in and says, "Oh, I'm so happy you're doing this. Thank you so much for doing drops. I can't wait to unlock all 3 of these. I sure hope you go for 6 hours." I'll probably go for 6 hours. It'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. There's no Avalanche game on Fridays, so there's no conflicts there. So that would work out just fine. That's my litmus test for anything and everything I do. When's the Habs game? But realistically, it'll probably be a 2-hour stream. So that would be Friday covered. Saturday, you bet your bippy, we're going back to the Sea of Stars. Garl needs to be avenged at some point. I honestly don't know what the story content is on that game, how much longer it's got to go. There was a point where I felt like we were maybe only like a third of the way through. Well, we've played more since then, so yeah, you're definitely more than just a third of the way through. Let me get my lights on so I'm safe. Am I more than halfway through right now? It feels like it, but there's really nothing that I could point to that clearly says, oh yeah, definitely more than halfway through. I've got a lot of the islands. They report to me all clear now. There are a bunch of islands on the second world that still say you need to progress more through the game to get here. So just going purely by what the parrot tells me I need to do on all of the islands kind of feels like about 2/3 of the way maybe. But I think there's still a lot of good game left in that one. That one, I am doing everything in my power to not play that one off stream, so that all of that goodness gets encapsulated on stream. I do happen to know of a couple of people who are actually intentionally watching just that stream, just to kind of keep along with the adventures of Garl. So I don't want to disappoint any of them by accidentally having a Garl revelation while I'm not streaming, because that's important. And I've got enough other games going on again here at the moment that actually plays out pretty well. So that's definitely got me covered for Saturday. And now, Sunday. Normally, I don't stream on Sunday unless I've had to miss the Saturday stream for some reason, and then I use that as a makeup stream. But Baldur's Gate 3, since I had the test stream that validated that it will run on this same computer that's doing the streaming outward, and it will run at, especially when I downgrade it to just HD, since that's all I can stream out at anyway, it streams out at full graphic level settings, so it looks good when it plays out. I've got the itch to at least run a stream that goes through the full character creation, because I got to do the non-porn version of the game, just to avoid the risk of getting myself in trouble with Twitch, and in case the naughty bits come out, because that's not weird or immature to talk about it like that. But yeah, really kind of deep dive into character creation for the current run that I'm on. I heard all kinds of people talk about how they spent between 1 and 2 hours going through deep, customized character creation so they could play exactly the character they want. I got to character creation, and I'm like, oh, there's a button that'll generate someone random for me. Boop. What's this one look like? No, that one I don't feel. Let me... Boop. Oh, hey, this one looks pretty cool. Hey, you know what? It randomly generated a cleric for me, and I've read lots of online about how no one plays cleric in this game for some reason, and I didn't bother reading the whole article. I don't know why people bag on the cleric so much. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to show everybody up. I'm going to prove them wrong. And this is a wonderful looking half-orc woman with the big tusks and everything and a bunch of facial tattoos. I'm in love with her, platonically. So I said, you know what, screw it. We're going to go with that one. I spent 5 minutes and 45 seconds in character creation. Most of the time actually was spent deciding which are the first 2 spells I want to start with. And then boom, I am off and running. I spend more time now deciding how to do, spells and pick feats and things when I level up than I did in the initial character creation. So character creation doesn't bother me, but I think it would be fun, especially if there were a number of people on chat who were feeling the investment in it and yelling instructions from chat, to actually spend some time trying to build something big. Do I play Star Wars games? Yes. Do I have the good new Star Wars games? Actually, no, because aside from the Steam Deck here, I don't have a good Windows game machine. And most of the good current Star Wars games, they don't make Mac alternatives. So I've kind of slacked off. I would love to do some Jedi Order stuff, and I think it'll play on the Steam Deck. It would hurt me to have to play on this little bitty Steam Deck screen. Although I could hook it up to the monitor and see what it does about upscaling it to 4K. It's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. On Switch, they did the big, fire sale on all the Star Wars games we've got available for like $15. So I've got all of those. They're mainly Xbox 360, and there might have been a couple of titles that made it onto Xbox One, but yeah, they're mainly older titles. Star Wars Pinball in Pinball FX, I've got all of those tables. Those tables are awesome. But no, the more recent, blank order games, I have not gotten to play all of those. There's one of them I got for free through Epic that wasn't Fallen Order, but I think it was whatever the game was that came out right before that one. But it's Epic, so even if a game is available for Mac and Windows, you only got about a 10% chance that they actually give you access to the Mac version. I don't know what's up with them. The Unreal Engine supports Mac. They try to push people to put stuff out on Mac, but then when they do it through their own store, they don't support it. Bunch of jerks. That's why I've never bought anything through the Epic Store. I just take all of the free stuff out there. What was not Pilots, the X-Wing, the more recent X-Wing one where it actually supported VR as well. That one I was able to run on the Boot Camp partition on my older Mac laptop, and it ran great there. That was kind of impressive. I love playing that one there. When I moved to this new machine with the M1 chip, that no longer supported it. It did the same thing with Epic. Yeah, exactly. Screw those. Yeah, Squadrons. That was it. I liked Squadrons. I can kind of dig the people that are pissed at it because it gave you the option to play with the Empire, and then 3 missions in, you defect and you become a rebel. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. I should have mentioned that on a 4-year-old game, whatever. So I can get how people are kind of pissed off at that. I would like to have gotten to fly more TIE fighters, because the old TIE fighter game was absolutely awesome. I loved being able to fly all of those different models of TIE fighter and really get the feel for how they are distinctly inferior in most ways to an X-Wing. But when you pile a bunch up and you get to really make use of your speed, you can really take advantage of that. What I'm looking for right now is another rig sitting out here someplace that I can use for pulling this trailer over here so that I can road train people together. And I'm thinking this ANK is going to be the one. I'm going to take it back to the garage to put the low saddle on it. If it'll take a low saddle. This sits pretty high. One easy way to go tell, though. Nope, not the snorkel, not the... Wait, no. Oh, nope. This one, you can't change out that back frame at all. Congratulations, then. That's not going anywhere. This one's just sitting here. This one, you can do the add-ons. This is one of those that sits just high enough. You can't put a low saddle on it. They can only take the high saddle, so you are out of consideration. Oh. Well, I didn't mean to send that one back to storage, but here we are. We've done it. What other truck do I have sitting out here? The Paystar. The Paystar could be an option. Oh, he's already full. Oh, I see the not like this kid. Oh, okay. I've come back out of it. We should be good now. Everything's fine here, everybody. Don't worry about it. That's supposed to happen that way. Yeah, we're back. We're fine. So yeah, anyway, after picking one orange truck, I suddenly discovered that, the other orange truck, I think is going to suit my needs just a little bit better. I like the high clearance on the other one, the Paystar, just a little bit better, but I don't think I'm going to need it for this particular one. And I really like the backup support that having the crane on this truck is going to offer me. So, we're full of gas. We've got all of our lights and beacons on.
Snakes.
Hey, old bacon face.
Snakes.
Welcome in. No, you know what this economy is like. This map can't afford snow. We got some good mud. We got some dirt. We got some good-sized lakes. If you got them cold enough, you could have ice, but definitely no snow on this map. Yeah, if you want to come back tomorrow evening, though, SnowRunner Season 11. I'm doing a premiere debut stream on the new release of Season 11 tomorrow. That is set in Scandinavia. I think the two maps are actually technically set in different countries. I'm just going to assume that it's all Norway, because I don't know, I'm Scandinavia racist. I don't know, Scandinavia-ist? I don't know what the word would be for that, but it has maps that have some snow on them. Kind of like the earliest Canada map. No, it's not British Columbia. The Yukon map. It had mud and river at one end, and then you gained altitude and there was snow on the other. I think the Scandinavian maps are actually set up that way. Nope, I don't want to be in this truck. This truck we're done with for right now. I want to be in this truck. Here we go. Let's fire you up. We are going to tow the other truck behind us on this part of the run. Oh, you can literally grab that truck by the horns? No, that's a midway back. I thought, wow, you can grab it in the center of the hood right where I've got the horns mounted. That is definitely how we're going to pull this bad boy around. But nope, we're just going to grab it by the bumper instead. Now, I'm going to save a little fuel. I'm going to turn that one off. I'm just going to do a dead pull here. Not to be confused with a dead pool. That's totally different. Let me get you wheeled in. There we go. Sound that horn. Love that steam whistle. All these trucks need steam whistles to go with them. Or more like that. That's what I earlier insisted I'm going to refer to as Sandrunner. Whatever the full sequel to this game is going to end up going to be. I'm calling it Sandrunner for now, because it's A, terrain, followed by runner. It needs improvement on all of their horns. Just across the board. All the horns need to be better horns. That's my law. I've just laid that down. I'm sure they're listening. That one's decent. I'm okay with this horn. A lot of their horns just sound like car horns, and that's no fun, because I could go out to my driveway right now and just lean on the damn thing and have all kinds of regular car horn sounds and piss off all of my neighbors. But it's not the same as having an air horn hooked up. It took me a while playing American Truck Simulator before I actually finally realized this, but those trucks, they're set up with both a horn and an air horn, so you can play both. And of course, there's no point in playing the regular horn because that's weak. No one needs that. And honestly, air horns don't all sound great. I'm not a very good ATS player, so I've been improving the starter truck that I started with. It's kind of right there in the name. I haven't gone truck shopping for the bigger, badder trucks because I suck too much at making the money you'd need to go buy those, but it might be that some of the better trucks also come with much better horns. But the one I've got hasn't really been an option. I need to get on it. I need to play more. I think the next map they're releasing, it's either Nebraska or Kansas. Undoubtedly, I'll end up picking it up. Oh, I hear bees. That. I'm learning about the Steam Deck. That was not a thumbstick click. I think I got a little bit of the fat on my palm on the virtual mouse pad. So I think a virtual mouse pad click worked the same. That's what shifted my field of view there real quick. Welcome in, Vicky B. Hola, Truckerino. That's Spanish for everyone out there that did not know. Can I unlock a seahorn? Just like that. Courtesy of... Oh, I pushed the Sirenscape button, but I actually have to have focus right there. There we go. Courtesy of Sirenscape, I have access to boat horns. The only other way you get to native boat horns in this game is if you go down to certain docks, they have some of those built in as background sound effects. Kind of like the church music that plays at the churches in the Michigan maps. And on some of the Russian maps, they've got those old Russian churches that are up high in the mountains that have all of these just really bad four-wheel drive trails to get to and really no signs of civilization. If you drive out to some of them at night, you get this almost like Gregorian chant music that plays very faintly in the background as you're near them. It's very cool, very atmospheric. Now we're missing fire horns. No, I don't have a fire horn. I gotta go train horns? This is what it sounds like out my bedroom window at about 3 a.m. some mornings. A little bit fainter. But there is a rail line that runs quite a ways away from my house, actually. But at 3 a.m., everything else gets nice and quiet. Did you get stuck back there, stupid truck? And you can hear in the distance the plaintive wail of like, Dash 9s pulling mainly construction cars. Lots of lumber and drywall gets hauled around back and forth on the lines through here. Okay, nope, I can't access that truck from this far away. Everyone please hold momentarily. I think I ended up pulling this just a little too close. No, did I? Yeah, this did get a little hung up on something. Honestly, I would have... Oh, it's that giant rock right below the cab. That's what it got stuck on. There we go. Okay. I'm a little surprised I couldn't just yank it right on over the top, but here we are. I had to make a small correction. It should be a surprise to nobody that it's right next door to the truck eating house. Everything about that house just causes trouble. Let me get hooked back up here. There we go. Where's my cursor? Cursor, please. Please. Cursor, please. Hello? There you are. Oh, it did not want to get started, but here we go. Actually, if I had remote started the engine on that second truck, that might have helped push it over that rock. Oh well. On the way back, I'll need to keep in mind that I need to steer just a little wide around the truck eating house. Nearby train, but they tend not to honk in that stretch, so it's just an issue. And an extra rumbly one rumbles fast. Yeah. So the stretch that runs by here, that's quite a ways off. It's got a lot of crossings. So they are legally obligated to blow that horn at every crossing. So it can often be a 15-minute run. You know, if they're loaded heavy, so they don't have their speed up quite as high because they got to slow down for all those crossings anyway. So that can be a good 15-minute run of, you know, the 4 honk signal, and then a minute break as they get to the next crossing, and then another horn signal. And so yeah, you can go through a lot of them. But it is far enough away that you can't hear it at all during the day. They don't run as many trains during the day. There is a commuter rail line that uses the same tracks, so I think they try a little bit to keep down on that conflict. But I think just because of the number of crossings, it's also a lot easier just to do it at night, so you have less conflict to deal with. But yeah, so it's far away. You don't hear it at all during the day, not even when the trains rumble. But at night, when everything else is quiet enough, it's just loud enough that it kind of carries. On a good foggy evening, it's very, very thematic to something. I guess it gets us back to the whole Call of Cthulhu thing, which I believe is where most of these horn sounds actually come from. I'm waiting for them to build out their everyday heroes more and more, as they get more of those built out at Syrinscape to accommodate the more modern games that Everyday Heroes supports. I'm waiting for more and more sound effects that would actually apply really well to this stream. Because I got a ton of fantasy sound effects. They're not really relevant here. If you want the sound of an axe scoring a critical hit into some, you know, sloppy gut somewhere, Syrinscape has got you covered. There are no axes in SnowRunner. In much the way that there is no crying in baseball. It's just not something that's done. I need to truck more fantasy maps. You could almost take this game engine and start slapping some fantasy elements on top of it. You know, replace your truck with horses or dragons or whatever you wanted. Lots of, you know, covered in flatbed wagons, hauling mead, and maybe some construction supplies. You could do stuff. It would be weird. You have to grant that. There's probably a reason nobody has done it to date, but it doesn't mean it couldn't be done. It might mean it shouldn't, but no one asks those questions. I mean, I've seen Jurassic Park. I know that's a waste of time. Hey, Old Bacon Face, congratulations on a landing. 11 is virtually a high score for the shoot game on this stream here. I saw myself headed for this rock. I knew it was coming. Ended up right on top of it anyway. Keep pushing, keep pushing. We're going to the outside to get you over. There you go. Congratulations, big truck. Do want to stay a little bit wide just to keep the trail truck from dipping into the center area there. We definitely don't want to drop a truck off the side of this bridge. That would be unfortunate. I am going to start... I'm going to try to start the engine. I keep hitting the X button. Why are you not turning the engine on the towed vehicle? Oh, let me set the brake. Oh, nope. Oh, damn it. It was on briefly. I saw the lights come on. There it is. Oh, interesting. It is not updating the prompt. It's supposed to toggle between turn engine on and turn engine off. It has historically. It is not today. Okay. So that was probably the core of my problem. Oh, 3 points engine damage. Sorry. Who did I hit? Oh. I'm not using that truck anyway. Go ahead. Drop it in the river down there if you need to. That's someone else's problem. Once I get started with Season 11 tomorrow, it's probably going to be 3-4 weeks before I get back to this map. I think when Season 10 came out, I think it only took me 2 weeks to get through that one. I did a whole bunch of off-stream work on that one. I'm going to be flat out honest. It's probably going to happen again with Season 11, because this game is so freakishly near and dear to my heart. If I can get 3 weeks of streams out of it, I'll probably be feeling pretty good. Season 12 will be so much more so much more of everything in every dimension. That one will definitely last longer. I think when Season 8 came out, 4, 8, and 12 are the big expansions at the end of each season, at the end of each year pass. So for each of those have required significantly longer amounts of time than just the fact that they've got double the maps. In fact, Season 8 I may have been working on for almost 2 months. And all those horrible farming missions in them that took ages to complete and were insanely repetitive and boring. So I actually tried to do all of those off stream, so that part worked out. But at least it meant then I was on streaming most of the good, interesting missions. So that is my goal. Hopefully there's no boring, stupid crap in Season 10. Because if I need to do that off stream, then I'll be lucky to get 2 full streams out of that content. But Season 12, I have high hopes for. Definitely busting that out tomorrow. And I've already got it pre-ordered for both the Steam Deck and Switch, so I am set to play anything, anywhere. Doing my normal playthrough run. I have my 100% run. That's all set up on the Switch. So I'm going to do this initial play in normal mode, single player mode on the Switch. That will be my typical item. Given that that's probably only going to get me 3 weeks worth, and I contracted 2 words and whistled at the same time. I'm a pro. So after those 3 weeks, I will probably come back. I'll come back to this map, get the multiplayer opened again. If there's interest, I can run a I can run a multiplayer on the Switch. It actually doesn't seem to suffer as much of the cross-platform problems as the Xbox client does. But I think running it off of the Steam Deck here, I've seen the best results from. Keep going, little fellers. So I would probably run multiplayer from here. I could run a multiplayer version of the Season 11 maps off of the deck here instead. That way you get the better resolution on stuff, the slightly more stable networking. Although to be fair, most of the networking problems that I've seen that this game has usually involves. For a long time, it was just if you had an Xbox, it just didn't work well at all, period, unless you were talking to another Xbox. Otherwise, it's usually been if you have 2 different consoles involved, with or without a PC, that kind of seems to be the core of the problem child. If it's all PC to all PC, it's a crapshoot sometimes whether that even works. It's had stretches where it's worked really well that way, and then suddenly they think they've fixed something on the console side and it actually breaks the PC side. So I think any multiplayer I'm probably going to restrict back to just doing on this machine because it runs the Windows client. This time around, I'm going to go for the flip a UE route. Because I think there's a little less navigation issue involved, and that might come into play when I'm doing my road train. So yeah, 1 3-point turn to get turned around. I think we're fine there. So let's put you off to the side. Am I close enough? No, I'm not close enough to just change to that truck. So let me... Nope, that's the B button. You require the use of this other free trailer that they just left lying around, so it belongs to me. Total coincidence that this trailer happens to be exactly the kind you would need for the Sequoia. The hitch on that trailer just dropped a long way to get down to where the saddle actually resides on this truck. But it hooked up. We're good to go. I'm in all-wheel drive, so I don't have to care about getting mired in any of the soft sand or anything. I'm going to be just a tiny bit for thoughtful here, and I'm going to have him do his big turnaround maneuver before loading up this time. Because I think there's a bigger swath of area I can turn around in over on this side. Pay no attention to those exclamation points. That has nothing to do with being a mod map. That is probably trying to bring in one graphic asset that the map builder probably told them they had access to, but they didn't actually. Set you there. This time I should be close enough. Yes, I can change trucks. Let me get winched up. So now this is the way. We need to do 2 runs like this, where we are road trained together. I'm going to leave the engine running on the rear truck the whole drive this time, because that is going to help, because we are under load. Also, taking this exit route, I don't have the field of really big rocks that I have to fight my way through here when trying to cut this corner. I have big rocks in the middle of the road, but at least not in the corners I'm trying to cut. I actually want to go on the outside edge of this one initially. Trailers don't mind coming over those big rocks near as much as the trucks do. If I drop it down low, my plan is to get truck 2, to go on the other side of the big rock, and we're clear. Dinner time! Good to see you again, Stitch fan. Welcome back anytime. As I've said, I may be streaming daily through the weekend here. Sunday there's a lot of guest work going on. I do know that on Saturday with Sea of Stars, there will be no Dan Servo stream on Saturday, because his move is happening on Saturday. In a world of technicality that I am not privy to, if his move actually saw a delivery early Saturday morning and everything worked out perfectly, we all know that never works. He could theoretically be up and streaming Saturday afternoon, but it's not going to happen. He doesn't plan on it. I don't plan on it. It could happen, but I think just the fact that it could happen is not enough to make it a should happen thing. So I should have time to spend a little longer in the Sea of Stars on Saturday, and then come Sunday, well, we're gonna see how everybody feels about everything. Then I think I would actually like to go ahead and do a Sunday stream, honestly just because I can. What it would be is probably doing the Baldur's Gate, build a character and maybe get started with it. It would be awesome to get a multiplayer Baldur's Gate going. That I would really be down for. That I would 100% get down with the stream if I was doing that one. As a solo playthrough, I definitely want to run a Dark Urge character, because I have not done that with my current one. I am currently playing my standard CRPG route. I am the good guy, damn it. I want to get to the good ending. It's cool if you've added a bad ending. I might experiment with a bad choice from time to time, especially if you have achievements tied to them, but I know I've mentioned this in a few streams before, but for any newbies notice, I tend to play the good. So I want a second playthrough. I've seen enough in this game, I could probably pre-plan at least 4 playthroughs. But I know, playthrough number 2, I want to play a Dark Urge. I have been watching Amelia Tyler and Jay Britton. Amelia is the narrator for Baldur's Gate. Jay Britton is her partner, who also does voiceover work. He's not in Baldur's Gate, but he was involved in both of the Divinity Original Sin games, and he's actually been in a handful of others. So it is a delight to watch them play Baldur's Gate together, because they get in character. And for her, it's not a character that she actually used in the game. Although chat has finally made her, when she actually reads out book pages and things, they've made her start reading it in narrator voice, just so that it matches when the game narrator version of her talks. It's obviously her using narrator voice. So it was getting weird when she would mix and match voices when she was reading the books. This is going to be bad here. This probably isn't going to go well. I'm probably going to lose the rear truck, but one thing I've learned is if you don't look at it on screen, it gets the simplified physics, and it might make it through anyway. So I'm just going to keep pulling. I don't seem to have encountered any massive resistance, so it might still be upright. I may have cheated the law of physics. Yes. We're still good. We're still raping and pillaging old growth forest here. So everything is fine here. Off to Pathfind. Congratulations, old bacon face. That's actually why I'm doing my stream tomorrow. My Pathfinder for tomorrow got canceled. But good luck with that. Find, both all of the good and the bad paths. It's important to find them all. I'm doing my best to stay away from the brown snow, but, sometimes it happens. That's why I got the truck with the good tires out in the lead here. Is that truck? Yes, that is my... Oh, God, that's way more than hexadecimal. That's going out to, what, base 36 at least? Yes. That is my total flips in the year and a half. That's got to be longer than a year and a half now. Yeah, but in my entire tenure with this game, that has to be my total flips. Today, though, I've kept it to 0. I'm doing really well. In case it actually comes up as a real question for anybody, that is the code that you would need to join this game in multiplayer mode. You are welcome to do so, since this is not an officially sanctioned map, but a mod map. I'm not personally invested in making sure that I've seen and done everything available on it, so I'm more than happy for anyone to join in. Grab any mission out there you want, unless it's the one I'm actively working, and it's only got one thing to deliver. That would be unpleasant to spend all of my time and my chit-chat working my way toward, say, dragging a giant sequoia all the way across 2 maps, and then discovering that you have beaten me out to it by 45 seconds. But otherwise, yeah, I don't care what mission you grab. Do whatever suits you. If you just want to scroll around and throw trailers in the river, I'm talking to you, Will Gander. You're welcome to do that too. Those are cheap and easy to recover sometimes, generally. Definitely sometimes. Sometimes they're not. This game is fun in multiplayer. I did discover the last time I tried doing that I do have a workable Discord set up, so I can actually bring people into voice chat as well. I have not experimented yet with Guest Star. So any streamers who want to join in and do a full-on guest stream, I'm honestly not 100% certain exactly how that works. If I tell it, yeah, do guest stream, and then Twitch is responsible for dropping the extra view cam somewhere, and then maybe I can resize it, but it kind of comes through my desktop audio, and we are effectively streaming to each other, or do we actually have to have each other's streams open, or does it go through OBS? I don't know how it actually works. That would be fun to experiment with. That would work really well if someone wants to co-stream a little Baldur's Gate action. We could get... Damn these eyes. Is that a star? We could guest star as long as life doesn't get in the way. Hey, Nico, for you and me, we could do a torch... we were doing Torchlight 2? We could do a Torchlight 2 guest thing. That would be kind of cool. 'Cause, I think that one... I didn't stream my side. I just jumped on Discord so we both had voice running in your stream. I think that's how that ended up working out. That one would be a cool experiment. Stop engine. I'm going to go ahead and release the winch just for the moment. I want to make sure that you are stopped. I want to change truck again. I want to use you to make sure that everybody is topped up on fuel. This is why you were sitting here in the first place. No, I didn't mean to top yourself off. He needs to pull forward a little bit. Or backwards? Who did I think I topped the Azov off. So I need to pull forward just a little bit. There we go. Now there's the Boron. You're taken care of. Turn you back off. Go back to the Azov. Fire you up. Let's make sure your lights are still on. Yay, lights. We are going to... Whoa, cursor. There it is. Blink, blink. You are hooked up. Turn on rear vehicle. Beacons are on. Truck is double safe. And I think at this point, the road might actually be wide enough most of the rest of the way there. I'm going to try this in first-person view. I'm having a rebel moment. That stinger was chosen intentionally. That one wouldn't have been an accident. Actually, I do have a victorious one. There it is. So I'm covered for threat, success, and failure. Just like in real life. Ooh, while I'm driving, I got another story time. This one you're gonna love. Hey! Cross the streams. Were you here, Vicky B, when I mentioned there is a... Oh no, I've lost my connection. I don't think anyone tried actually connecting. If you tried connecting, let me know in chat, and I will go and I will double check, and I will make sure that I get reconnected. Otherwise, this is just networking in SnowRunner. Sometimes it gets tired and it decides to quit. But there is a new Ghostbusters game that releases tomorrow morning on Switch. So my Friday, I'm going to do a Friday stream just because I can. It's going to be the new Ghostbusters game. There is going to be so much stream crossing in that one. That game, it's $20 if anyone wants to get prepared to do a multiplay on it. You can play as the Ghostbusters or the Ghosts. And so you can get into a full multiplayer battle playing both sides. Yeah. As I warned earlier, it's possible the game might suck, but I've already prepaid for it on a pre-order, so it's coming down the pike either way. So that is going to be my Friday stream. Because of the Mrs. Jedi midterm week assignment that I've got on Friday, it will probably be no earlier than a 4 p.m. start time. And it's going to be my first drops-enabled stream, so if anyone else does want or gets the game, you would be able to get a couple of extra bonus ghost skins specifically. And I think there are 3 skins available. They require 2 hours of watching a Twitch stream in order to qualify for that drop each. I don't think I will do a 6-hour stream, but you never know. If Nico gets on, and especially if Nico's kids get on and everyone wants to see a bunch of stuff, because you know how demanding Nico's kids can be. And, I don't know, it might go on. I could physically stream from 4 to 10. There would probably need to be a bit of a snack break somewhere mid-range there. Speaking of snack break, I'm actually not quite hungry yet. I'm gonna at least get these 2 Sequoia delivered. I do have a suspicion though that Sequoia 4 and 5 may end up having to wait until after season 11 is completed. So we may be looking at a month before actually finishing this mission, which is okay. We weren't fully committed to the obviously everything has to be done today deal, It's how I go about both my professional and my private life. Procrastination is the key. Oh, that was a good scratch. No demands. Oh, you say that now, but you just wait. You wait until you see the ghost-busting glory that is coming. Honestly, the part that has me worried is the fact that it's only a $20 game. Yeah, it's Ghostbusters, so it's an old property. And I don't think it has any tie to Ghostbusters Afterlife. The sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife is already in some level of pre-production. Obviously, the writer and actor strikes are definitely going to have an overall impact on it. But it is in the works. I think they are finally going to maybe not totally abandon, but largely give up on going for the nostalgia route of having the original Ghostbusters do glorified cameos again. I'm torn either way. I think it was a level of fan service that I deemed to be adequate and appropriate level. I do know that there were other people who definitely did not feel that way, and you know what? Good for them. I liked it. I would do it again. I could definitely see Bill Murray telling everybody involved to take a hike, because, he's Bill Murray. He'll do it if he wants to, and maybe even only half the time then. he could really want to do it and still not do it, just to maintain some level of principle and aloofness or whatever he feels it should be. So I could see him not being involved. Ernie Hudson, you know he'd come back into it. Ernie Hudson is good in a lot of stuff. If you want to get off on another side tangent, as long as I'm driving the boring paved route, the new Quantum Leap revival, is that what you call it? It is not a reboot. It is a continuation on to the original series, but Ernie plays an important primary cast role position in that. I don't want to spoil anything. His character does have a direct connection back to the original series, retroactively applied. Scott Bakula has gone on record a number of times saying that he has no plans on having any involvement with the project. Key phrase in there is that he has no plans to. I think they did use, they mention Sam several times. They've had, I want to say there was at least one photo of him. Dean Stockwell is deceased, so he's not participating in, but Al has a presence in the storyline as well. I'm kind of holding out hope that they might actually talk him into just making a very brief cameo at the end of season 2. They're only 2-3 episodes into season 2 right now. They actually shot the initial order of season 2 back to back with season 1 because it had gotten a very early green light to renew. So their first 11 episodes, I think it is, of season 2 were actually in the can before any of the strikes started. So they are done. They are solid. They're airing the first 11. The plan, assuming that it holds up all of its viewership, is to order some back end to the season, which is actually what they did on the first season as well. They did, it was either 11 or 13 episodes on the initial order. They were so happy with the response that it got that they filled it out to a total of 18, and then they greenlit the second season before those 18 were even done. So we're getting at least 29 episodes. And I really like the story that they've built on. They've taken a lot of the Monster of the Week style that the original series did, but in season 1 they actually had a through line, a meta story that if you missed an episode or two, it was not difficult to catch up on what all had gone on, but if you hadn't, then it just continuously built, and there was a point, and there was a destination. Season 1, and I'm sure they did this intentionally. Season 1 could have been an entirely self-contained, mini-series event. It would have been a long mini-series, but it could have ended with that season finale. But they left open the hooks to go ahead and lead into a season 2, and so now here we are. And with season 2, all the stuff that came up and happened in season 1, there's a wait, how does this affect any of that? Because this is a time travel show, so we're doing time travel stuff, and things. They haven't gotten super Doctor Who timey-wimey, but they could. I don't think they will, because this is NBC, so my earlier commentary about needing to ensure that you maintain a certain least common denominator on stuff definitely applies to network TV like that. So I don't think they're going to get extra cerebral with their time twistiness, though they did more than I had expected in season 1. I absolutely want to give them credit for that. Season 2, they are kind of backing away from the big storyline from season 1 just because it could be self-contained as it was. So I think for season 2, they continue to want to acknowledge season 1 and allow it to have an effect on season 2. But at least initially in the season, they've discussed this in a couple of interviews. They've kind of backpedal is probably the wrong word. They've kind of taken a step back from the storytelling technique. So it's a little more like the original series, where the leaps don't have quite the same sort of connectivity that they sort of had in the first level. I'm trying to be weirdly vague and generic about that to avoid any risk of spoilers for anybody, because I highly recommend that you go and see it. It is on Mrs. Jedi's watch list when she is done with this big intern project, and we get to go. We got everything booked for going to Indiana for graduation in December. I feel like Dan Aykroyd will always sneak in. Dan Aykroyd will always want to sneak in, because really, Ghostbusters was his baby. It's been his baby for a very long time, so I think you would have trouble keeping him out. I think Bill Murray would be more than happy to just flip the bird to anyone asking him and then do whatever he wants independently. And then, you know, I'd say at the 11th hour, with Bill Murray, at the 13th hour, he would say, hey, you know what, you want me to be a cameo in like that one scene somewhere? If you're cool with going back and reshooting the whole thing, yeah, I guess, whatever, I'll give you an afternoon. They might do it. Maybe? Okay, we're having an issue here. We're having an issue, people. We are stuck in a ditch. I don't think we're going to roll over, but we're going to take some massive risks. There we go. There we go. I did disconnect the trail truck because I knew that corner was going to be hard because there was a big pole in the way. So I think that may have actually saved me. Let's go back and collect you. Yeah, he was not going to make that turn. So congratulations, me. You made a correct choice before getting yourself stuck in the ditch. Now, as I've learned from the first one, I'm going to get this one stuck in the ditch too. Let me fire up all-wheel drive first. That's going to help dramatically. Ooh, this one did a better job of climbing back out. Good to know, mister. I'm going to let you brake slowly. Good, make sure those beacons are on. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for non-safety. Anti-safety? Let's get the winch reconnected real quick like. I said real quick like, please give me the cursor. There it is. Everything's fine now. I'm not bitter. We're even going to start by driving on the inside. You know what? I'm going to be on the outside to start just to be sure that we got a proper tow. Okay, we're off and moving. Let's see. Dan Aykroyd do it. Ernie Hudson, I'm sure, would do it because I think Ernie Hudson likes working. That's what got me off into the Quantum Leap sidetrack in the first place. He's really cool and I like his character. He's actually had a number of turns in a bunch of horror movies. Unfortunately, he does tend to be the black victim, so that's a bit of a bummer, but I don't think they always kill him off, but sometimes. I know that he played a big role in the Ghostbusters reboot. I liked it. Screw all the haters. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it actually felt the spirit of Ghostbusters. Yeah, it wasn't the originals, but that was also, you know, kind of the point and the intention behind it was, if we're going to reboot it, let's reboot it and do something different to try to bring a little value proposition to the deal. Let's not just, yeah. The one thing that I really wanted to avoid, the one thing that I was worried about the most with Ghostbusters Afterlife was that it was going to be hey, look, it's Ghostbusters International, and these are the new 4 Ghostbusters, and there will be a 45-second cameo where the surviving original Ghostbusters come in, hand the Neutrona wand off to the new group, and then they just, you know, screw right off, and then that's the end of that. And we just take this as a passing of the guard. I thought it was pretty cool the way that they worked Egon and Egon's family into the whole thing, built a little more structure. Each of the original Ghostbusters had more than just a cameo, 3 cameos. The touching tribute at the end. Hey, XC, welcome in. You are here in time for some SnowRunner mod madness. I am kind of, well, I was going to wrap up some loose ends with this Pine Valley mod map. It looks like I am probably going to get Sequoia number 2 and 3 delivered here I don't think I am going to have the time. Wow, you are really stuck, aren't you? I don't think I'm going to have the time here today to get 4 and 5 delivered. But I am coming back tomorrow to do a SnowRunner Season 11 premiere stream. That will be back playing on my Switch again, but getting back into my traditional SnowRunner mode. I think that stream may not actually start until, 24 hours and 42 minutes from now is kind of my guess on when that's going to happen. This hill is apparently a little harder, so I'm going to drive these up separately. Oh, yeah, I can come out of low gear now. You know what? I am going to go ahead and get past the, oh, did you mean to roll yourself down into the lake dip on this road, because it's just up ahead here. I'm going to drive these separately past there. That's why that, if I'm paying attention and not tucking too much at the time and not badly oversteering the turns like this, it's not too hard to avoid that with the lead truck. And you never quite know what line that trail truck is going to take, or the trail truck's trailer. So let me just buzz these two individually down through here. You know how you feel. You're going to spend all day on Season 11. Yeah, I'm trying not to do too much off stream. But Season 10, I did that. I played a lot off stream because I was completely enamored with it, and I liked the mission structure and everything that they had built up for it. So I think I only got 2 streams out of Season 10. I think I ended up doing the rest of it on my own. Loving every second of it, but that is how I really kind of got into doing more of this mod map stuff here. It's because I blew through Season 10 too quickly. Stop engine. Let's go back to prior truck. Nope, that's the wrong button again. That's the right button. Oh, nope, it's the same thing I had last time. He got in, the rear truck got loaded up on a great big rock. Nope, still loaded up on it. And even with both trucks pulling in tandem, could not clear over it. There we go, not bad. Ooh, blood work today. That's always fun. Doc's calling tomorrow to go over it. Had your booster and the first flu. Oh, your first ever flu shot. Oh boy. So I have gotten a flu shot for as long as I can remember. I have never had a reaction to the flu shot. This last time around, the pharmacist who administered it to me, when she jabbed into that arm meat, I think she was off by a little to one side or the other of whatever the target is supposed to be, and the actual injection hurt, and then I could feel every milliliter of juice expand through my muscle tissue as she pushed the plunger down. It was the wildest. Seems like it should have been the most painful thing ever, but it kind of wasn't at the same time. It was as unsettling as it was painful, and it had nothing to do with the fact that what was in the liquid or anything. It was just a bad shot experience, and that is the only problem I've ever had with a flu shot. I would have to assume, given my really good track record of not getting the flu for the last 20, 30 years, that the shot must be pretty effective at what it does. So I know lots of people that do get a lot of the flu, a lot of the time, a lot of the places, and then come to work with it, a bunch of jerks. But I've managed to steer mostly clear from. The one big exception was the year that Mrs. Jedi and I both got it within days of each other, which I assume means I brought it home and gave it to her in the first couple of days. I was the one that got sick first, so I guess it's all my fault. And I swear to you, I was convinced we were going to die from that case of the flu. It was the worst I have ever had. It's part of what terrifies me so much of originally, especially original COVID, that it would be even half of like that. Current COVID, I'm far more worried about the effects of long COVID, but that is a different story. In terms of the actual booster shot, typically I'd get kind of sleepy at about the 12-hour mark afterward. So if I time my shot kind of late in the day, then I just sleep through it. I kind of really don't have any issue with it all. Other members of my family and other friends that I know, they tend to have a little harsher reactions. Nothing real terrible. The couple of people I've ever heard describe it as being as bad as the flu, it turns out they're really kind of more talking as bad as a rough head cold. Because there's a distinct difference between a cold and the flu. I know I always used to kind of talk about them as though they were kind of similar to each other, but they're actually not. The flu is harsh. Being sick, period, is not great. It's designed as a punishment, I'm sure of it. Our computer overlords do it to us on purpose. Yeah. I've definitely heard that with anyone post-op like that. They recommend that you get anything and everything. Because even just a quote-unquote simple head cold can be a nightmare when you got any kind of surgical recovery going on. It takes so close to nothing to develop a site infection. I have had a couple of surgeries along those lines. And yeah, they definitely tell you that watching this for infection is your #1 goal in life right now. Hey, this pull is actually going pretty well through here. We're making timber time. Saw Mrs. Jedi come down a moment ago and toss something in the oven. So that's kind of an exciting proposition. Oh God, I know. I can't believe I was trying to forget what it was. I know exactly what it is. It's stuffed peppers. So yeah, we are definitely not going to get to Sequoia number 4 and 5 today because we got homemade stuffed peppers on the docket. They won't be ready for a little while, so we can definitely get these two delivered. I don't want to leave everyone hanging with all of this lumber just sitting in the middle of the trail. So we're going to get this all the way to the docks. Sitting at the docks with the mission active should help trigger my memory when we come back to this in another 3 or 4 weeks as to what it actually needs to have done with it. And then, now that I've got the road train all queued up, this is just a nice simple drive back and forth. A couple of slow spots here and there. Lots of time for me to gab. Get strep or something. Oh, strep every November. Yep. I have known people that are strep magnets. While it doesn't seem like it's the worst thing you could ever get, getting it, regularly like that is just as bad as getting it in the first place. Just the knowledge that, yep, here comes November. I'm going to have it again. My throat is going to hurt, and it's going to suck. Oh, this is a leany spot. Don't lean here. No one look behind us. It'll be fine. But, yeah, if that's the worst you get, as things go in life, that's not bad. I would very much not like to get sick at all, but, it's I guess one of the upsides of being distinctly on the conservative end of COVID safety protocols is that I have gotten sick, cold-like sick, once. I've had a couple of sore throats that, I couldn't really contribute to necessarily being sick. It could be a matter of the heater or the air conditioner running all night and me sleeping and just getting dried out that way and made it hurt. So definitely nothing along the lines of strep though. So yeah, I've had very few instances of being flat out sick. Most of the time when I run into something, it ends up being, something in the old digestion has become an issue. This is a gamble because there's a stump that sits right there. I am not going to risk that much of a gamble. I know I can get a truck at a time around that stump. I kind of doubt. Well, screw it. I'm going to risk it because that's what you pay me for. I'm going to see if I can get the rear truck pulled around. No, I cannot. Okay. You also pay me to fail, so good on you there. successful on that part. I think I got the truck to go around the stump back there. But while trailers are pretty forgiving about rocks, they are merciless when stumps are involved. So let's pull you up here and get you parked for a moment. Let's come back. There should be... No, not the trailer. I'm with the truck. There we go. Yeah. Oh, God. Where is this stump? The fact that I don't see it is what scares me the most. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, I pulled the rig right up over the top of that stump. Yeah, it was definitely not going to be just casually pulled over. We needed to do this. A lot of times I'll manage to get the truck around the stump, but then it logs that bog right in between the little stubby legs. And then you're lucky if you can back the thing out, because then it kind of tries to get hooked on the rear of the truck as well. And this is where having that other truck to pull really comes in handy, because these are actually some steeper than they look hilltops. Want to change truck? There we go. Let's get you back to running. Let's get the winch reconnected. We are almost there, my woodland brothers and sisters. The cursor's not there, but the lumber is. Back the other way. Nope. We're not going... Give me something. Wait, I see it! Reconnected. Yes, we are all hooked up. We'll go back to this view. The other thing ATS has over this game is the windshield wipers work in American Truck Simulator. When it rains here, which it looks like it's doing very lightly right now, the rain doesn't stick to the glass, but you can't run your windshield wipers. Talk about breaking immersion. But in ATS, you gotta run those wipers and you can't see a damn thing anymore. Also in ATS, if you try driving around at night without your headlights on, you can get a ticket. That's always fun. SnowRunner isn't that mean because they know that normally, outside of this New Game Plus playthrough where I told it to never be nighttime, that it's usually night 16 to 18 hours a day. Let me pivot out a little further here so that I can detach the second truck first. Let's get you swung around. Let's do the delivery. Bye-bye, giant log. You were heavy, but not difficult to work with. Thank you. I gotta not catch that guardrail. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. Let's get you moving. Fuel usage has been nice and low on this run, so I should not have an issue with getting it all the way back to that fuel trailer that I've got. There you go, Sequoia the next. Let me get these two trucks lined up so that upon returning to Pine Valley, once we are done in the fjords of Scandinavia, this will be all ready to go. It's not lights, camera, action. They only use 2 of those. Camera action? I don't remember exactly which, but there's only 2 out of the 3 words used for the Season 11 theme. There is going to be a lot of movie set backgrounds involved in things. One of the custom trailers that they're going to add in is it's a giant horse trailer is really what it is, but it's full of movie making materials, presumably cameras and things. And so that is going to be one of the large custom loads that you get to drag around, probably between both maps. I think they've added a couple of new chunks of cargo, and then lots of movie sets that you drive through there. There's one that I've seen on some of the PTS previews where it's a giant green screen, and then they've taken some of the boats that they added in the main DLC, and they just dropped the boat in front of a green screen mounted on like a mechanical gimbal. I don't think it actually moves to rock the boat, but the implication is there that that's what the movie scene is set up for. I think that season's just going to be visually a lot of fun to play through. I don't know that the cargoes are necessarily going to become exciting or anything, but I am looking forward to see what kind of new stuff they have added in. The new vehicles that come with the season, they're both scout vehicles. One, it's kind of like there's an Indian company that makes something that looks like a ripoff of a Land Cruiser. That's one of them. I think they call it the Eagle. And then the other one is this big, bad, beefy six-wheel monster truck that looks as big as a regular, semi-rig, but is deemed in the Scout class. A lot of people have compared it to being kind of as overpowered as the Tataran was. The Tataran was actually included in the base game originally. I've seen a number of people theorize that it's going to enter regular rotation in a lot of people's games just because it is so big and beefy. And it's got giant, 57-inch tires on what's supposed to be a scout vehicle. There is a mission where you go and pull one out of some thin mud, and I think that's all you need to do to acquire it. So that one will definitely be one of my priorities. Obviously, my first priority is going to be breaking out the old Scout 800 and letting it do the initial scout of the region. It's got to be the first one to find and open up a watchtower. And then after that, depending on what the terrain is like, especially, it's actually really good in the mud, that Scout 800 with the big beefy mud tires and the raised suspension on it. But you get into anything that's uneven, that's going to start the tipsy-turvy, gravy, wavy, the Scout 800 does not do well in that. I've always got the extra repair and fuel on top, makes it top heavy. That thing flips faster than a Jack Russell Terrier. Tell you what, I think that is going to wrap us up for today's SnowRunner mod map. Let me bring it back over to this view here. Let me make sure that the game is shutting down properly. Did I hit the wrong button? Is it ignoring me? Nope, there it goes. Now it is shutting down. There we go. I'm gonna lean forward. Set the Steam Deck down on the coffee table where it's comfortable. As long as I'm over there, I have some nice cold Coffee Monkey brew. Not exactly delicious anymore. But not so bad that I'm not going to have 2 swigs.
For Carl.
For Garl. That's right, it's Garl's coffee. I gotta drink it. Oh yes, the stuffed peppers are going to be so good. So let's see, that's going to wrap up today's SnowRunner mod stream. Tomorrow, my plan is to be back with the SnowRunner Season 11 premiere. Tentatively, I'm thinking / hoping about a 7 o'clock stream. That is normally when my Pathfinder game would be over anyway. Pathfinder game was canceled so that I can go help Mrs. Jedi with her midterm project. So much easier just to call that than to try to explain what all it really is. I think the official done time for that is going to be 5:30. And then if it's a closer drive, I'll definitely be home in time for that. If it's a longer drive, we may be delayed a little bit. I don't know. We're gonna have to play it half by ear. So that's going to be Thursday. Friday, I'm breaking out the new Ghostbusters game. I don't know when in the day that I will do that. The last hurrah of the midterm responsibilities, I think, is going to be done by about 3. So 4 to 6 stream is a maybe possibility. 5 to 7, so at least I get the 2 hours to turn on the first drop, because it's going to be my first drop enabled stream. At least 2 hours to get to the first drop. That one I'm willing to guarantee we're doing 2 hours. I wouldn't count on 6 hours, Nico, but you never know. Something exciting might come up. Everyone might love the game. Someone might actually spend the $20 on it just so they can join in and we can do multiplayer. I don't know. It's fun to dream that way sometimes. So that will happen Friday. Saturday, we are definitely doing an extended Sea of Stars stream. There is no way Dan Servo is streaming. Although, now that I've said this out loud, we may be going down to greet Dan Servo and bring him a welcome to the neighborhood gift. That could happen at some time. So there will definitely be an extended stream. It might start early rather than going late, though. Dan isn't exactly certain what kind of needs he's going to have for a welcome wagon until he's arrived to see what state the place is in when he does his thing Saturday morning. So That one, there's going to be more ear playing. I'm going to play both ears over the next couple of days. But Saturday is happening. It is going to be longer than normal, and it is going to be for Garl. And then Sunday might see some Baldur's Gate. I don't know. I'm excited about it. Maybe Nico and me test out the guest star thing and go to a little Torchlight, because we know that game, and that is definitely not much thinking involved. That's just a lot of, well, it's click and slash if you're playing it when it was called Diablo. It's button and slash, maybe trigger and slash. I don't remember the controls for it when you're playing it this way. But we should definitely test it. And that's where I'm thinking Torchlight might actually... Would Torchlight be easier? You know what? I don't think either one would be particularly easier. Though if you don't have Baldur's Gate, that would make it... That actually wouldn't make it any harder for me. Because when you guest stream, it's the video of the other person, not their gameplay. So if it's just a video of you making snarky commentary about my character choices, that could work too. So I don't know. You got a lot of options to work on then. But I am thinking of actually streaming every day, Wednesday through Sunday, just because I can. I did get through my second panel interview today. Today's panel went far better than yesterday's did. Yesterday had a brief foray into the computer science trivia party game that I despise in interviews. I had one question that I BS'd my way to a response, but it was definitely not the answer to that question. It was only the one, and it was from the grumpy interviewer that doesn't want to be involved in the interview process, but he's one of the only people on the team, so he has to be, so that may not count against me. Today was far more cordial and jovial, and I experimented with a couple of techniques to try to ensure that they didn't have time to actually ask me any of the dumb questions by constantly barraging them with questions of my own that kind of folded into, my side of the tell me of a time you've ever. And so I just kind of start that way so that we end up talking about some of the technical, some of the stuff that is, as an interviewer, I've done more so that I haven't had to rely on the stupid trivia questions that 10% of people actually know. And if that's your gateway for deciding who you hire is the one who happens to know your nonsense, then I guess I don't want to work there anyway. So I am done with interviewing at that place. They have every single one person at every single step of the line has said that there's the manager interview, 2 panel interviews, you're done interviewing. So my suspicion is that tomorrow, the 5 people that I've talked to total are going to have their, how about him meeting. And then one of the guys that was on today who was not the manager thought they might actually let me know an answer by Friday. My personal suspicion is probably Monday, maybe Tuesday. The downside to all of this is that they may actually come through with an offer, which is exciting, but this is also the place that seemed pretty serious about lowballing me by a solid 20%. Right now, I can't accept gimping myself that hard. That was a shiv, by the way, I was demonstrating there in case anyone lost half of that because it started below camera range. Volunteering for a 20% pay cut after not seeing a raise in the last 3, or it might now actually be 4 years. I don't think I can do that to myself just from a professional perspective. Even if we throw out, the whole notion of respecting yourself, just kind of respecting the career, that seems bad, especially anywhere that tracks salary history. That would probably be a red flag to say, wait, why did you voluntarily take that large a pay cut? So I don't think I'm going to do it, but yes, that was literally my tactic, talk too much. And you know what's helped with that? Doing a year of this nonsense where I kind of talk nonstop for 2 to 4 hours at a time. It's definitely helped build up those skills. Now, realistically, the answer is you're being a DM/GM since the 3rd grade. It might have even been 2nd grade. I think it was 2nd grade when we started playing D&D together as a big group of friends. So I've definitely been doing the BSing on the fly for years. So I've gotten good at that, but then just talking constantly and being able to ensure that I'm constantly threading together sentences that kind of make sense and maybe go together, but maybe not. If you say them fast enough, no one will notice. Then, yeah, that one has definitely been a streaming development to work on. And then some of the let's steer away from stupid trivia questions has been part of being on interview committees at Every place I've ever worked, I've actually managed to find my way onto the interview committee. Sometimes it's because the companies are small and you have to be. Like, the company I interviewed with today isn't small, but the team I'm interviewing with is. I have talked to literally every single person on that team. There's no one not involved. There's one. The team currently is 4 developers plus 1 offshore team that helps out with some kind of nebulous tasks. There is 1 guy that works on what they call the application. Well, they call it the application team. Even though it's a team, he's a team, and the others are a team, and it was very confusing. I didn't get that straightened out until the second interview here. But there's 1 guy that works on what they call the application, which is kind of the thing you run on your Windows machine or the web page you hit. And then the other 3 are all on the data team. They work with collecting the data out of their data pool that has been put there by other parts of their suite of applications. And then they massage the data to match a format and do some early analysis on it that then this current 1 application guy has an interface to for pulling out data. And really this overall team is kind of the end of your process report teams. And then they've got a dozen different products that companies use to help help manage their HR stuff. Because I got a bunch of details, and I've actually seen this product in use at some of those clients before, now that I know exactly what they do. But all of the products that do the things that companies subject their employees to, all of that data gets together, and they've got a whole bunch of other teams that work on processing that data and depositing it into the data lake. And then this team takes stuff out of the data lake after it's been put there appropriately, munges it so it's in a very useful format, and then this 1 guy is currently working on actually taking that massaged data and presenting it to an end user at the other end. So the 1 guy is getting 2 helpers hired in. In theory, I could be one of those. And then I think the data people are actually hiring 1 more because they've realized how lopsided their organization is in putting all of this responsibility for the customer is paid giants amount of money to get these 12 products that push data somewhere, but then when they want to see the results of the other end, there's only 4 guys working on it. So hopefully there will be 7 people working on it shortly, plus that nebulous team that who knows what they do. I kind of got the impression the hiring manager may not be entirely positive what they do either. I think they have an assigned area, and as long as that assigned area keeps working, good enough. We get it? We get it? There we go. Thumbs up. Boom. Give me some balloons before I sign off for the night here. Let's do the double thumbs up because we need some fireworks. Other side note, I was interviewing on my other Mac. I learned that all of this fun stuff only works on the Macs with an M1 chip, not on the older ones with the Intel chip, unless you're using your iPhone as a virtual camera on the Intel Mac, and then it kind of fakes it through, but that's not the way I was doing it. I did all my interviews on the Intel Mac, so I didn't ever accidentally do one of these in the middle of an interview and have that pop up. I think it would be hilarious and fun, but I don't want to take the gamble that everyone involved in the call thinks the same thing. So there we go. We are wrapped up for the day. I've got my plans in place for the rest of the week to weekend. Let me take a quick look. Let's see if anyone else on my regular list is actually streaming some SnowRunner right now. If not, Nifty Chris, who came to visit and gave his initial follow on my channel earlier, he's someone that I know through Dan. He is up and streaming right now. Maybe we go see him. Because so far I'm getting pretty deep down this list. You know what? That sounds good. Let me go find a little, somewhat ironically, it's a parachute button to do the raid over here in Twitch. Let me type in a Nifty real quick. Let me pick his name. There we go. What is Nifty Chris playing? He is playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. That sounds like a good family game. Everyone gather all of your young, impressionable children around. Let's go watch some bloodstaining. I have no idea what that game is. Nifty Chris, his shtick on Twitch is that he loves to go play like the 100 most classic games of all time, the 100 best games of all time. I love that you discovered that it actually runs regular standard emojis and not just the Twitch emojis, but then blows them up so that they fit. I got to use that more often because that's a really good one for here. But he loves to run the 100 greatest games of all time, and he will play them beginning to end, soup to nuts. He does, secrets and add-ons and DLC and everything and all of that. I don't know that something called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is really one of those games, but that is the kind of style he goes for. Sometimes retro, sometimes up to date if it's a really good game, but he's fun to kind of play along with. He does more of the interactive videos, swimming, zooming and swooshing, and he's got some more redeems and things on his channel than I do. He's one of the people that I kind of look to figure, hey, what stuff should I steal? Dan's kind of been my number one. Dan's my number two. Urgent Sandwich, I think, is my number one. I love the bunch of stuff that he does when he streams. I know you're here watching, Sandwich, because I know it. I just know it. You're here. You're watching. We love you, Sandwich. Stream more. Let me click the start raid button. There we go. It's underway. I'm going to send you to the end screen. I'm going to play a little of this weird pretzel music because at least it gets us through the day. And although I love Sirenscape, their music selection doesn't always work out for me. I need to search more to find one that I really like. But we're doing chill EDM today. Let me fire this up. It's probably going to be a little loud. I'll try not to yell. That's okay for right now. Let me send you the end screen. I will see you tomorrow at some point in the day. I'm going to say 7 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see. If that works out, the Avalanche game starts at 7:30, so there's going to be some Avalanche coastering going on with my Go light here behind me. You're going to love it. Bye.